Perfect. I'm not, yeah, it's not no sound. I'm just silent. What's wrong with being silent? You can hear, right? You can hear the music. I had it off for a second. Just turned it on. Hi, Spylo. I wish. I wish I was, I wish I could nurse so many birds back to health as him. Scares me that something broken if you're so silent. Yeah, I had the desktop sounds off because I was recording something the other day. Having a good start of the weekend? Yeah, lovely. I posted the pictures on Discord of my my DAO the other day. It's lovely. Let me go see. Sorry, general chat moves so fast nowadays, man. Like, honestly, it's crazy. Yep. This is 1 o'clock this morning. Hey, Cardi. How are you doing? Red Sea on this early? Yes, I'm going to be going out with friends again tonight. So I'm going to have to come off early. So I thought I'd start early so I can get some nice stuff done. Look how beautiful that is. Now, you don't get the full picture of it because it's not right. It's not full screen, right? You don't have the full breadth of it. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm very good, thank you. I think my camera's a bit blurry here. It's a bit sad. There's like a cave down here. You go into the cave, and there is like, it's fully brick arched, and then they've got like a tiled, not tiled, like a pebble floor with water running underneath it out into the lake. They've got a nice statue down here, so it's all kind of like this. How dark does it get in? I had to bring out my torch with bright light. There's kind of like a central chamber with light coming in through a hole in the ceiling. Oh, it's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. So this is at the top of the hill. I didn't take a picture. At the top of the hill, there's a thing they call Temple of Apollo, because apparently whoever made it was very obviously Roman inspired. But this is, so you see how low down that is. This is up you can't really see, it's up a massive hill. Like a 5-minute just hike upwards to get up there. Anyway, absolutely beautiful. So that's one side of the lake. That's the other side of the lake from the other side. So I was over there when I took the other one. So pretty, man. You're going to be surprised by how beautiful Pugs code is going to be after me and Didac get done with it. It already looks brilliant. I'm terrified. Went to a park with my mum where we used to go as kids. There's a tunnel that's pitch black, but it was less fun as a full-grown adult. Kept bumping my head. Yeah, I was a bit worried, honestly, because if you look at this one here, that is scary, man. Right? You need a climbing helmet in order to be able to go into there. Anyway, so today I thought I'd start by looking at a bit of the drama that's been going around. So 6 days ago, this came to my attention. I didn't realize it was going to blow up quite this much, but Spylo responded to it 2 days ago as well. And since then, it's kind of hit a holy shit, everyone's mad at Spylo for having a don't fucking harass the guy view. This is the Gaming4Hope drama. So the Gaming4Hope drama is very simple. There is this guy who has a lot of accusations against him. He is a conservative Christian person who has quit his job to pursue trying to get into OWCS. But he's in plat and he's pretty bad at the game. So Apply made a video basically going over a couple of the things that he plans to do and VOD reviewing him. I'll put it on for a second just so you guys can get context. We're not watching it though. Where's Apply? There you go. Stop. Is a Nazi child groomer KKK member? We'll see. We'll see. Post any sources for those kind of things in general, and I'll have a look at them as we go. Because he's made a full response video to it. addressing the allegations, which I think is quite funny. So I'm going to look through here. I'm going to look through, because obviously this is Spylo saying, basically, don't harass the guy. That's basically what it's saying. And then below here is basically everyone sourcing all the complaints about him for the most part. So I can get most of them from here. I also have a Reddit thread with quite a few complaints about him. But I honestly, apart from watching a little bit of this supply video, I've not gone into it. So if I
really hope
play the first start, backstory.
Hope for Game, what the fuck his name is, watches this and tries to respond, because it is ridiculous, bro. I don't know how you think this isn't your fault. It is unacceptable.
Nazi child groomer
If you want to
KKK
go
member.
pro, you need to be more realistic with yourself, bro. You're not going pro with this attitude.
Even if it's true, isn't it just best to ignore Plat wanting to go pro if they're that terrible? Oh yeah, hell yeah. Increasing their reach, I don't really care about increasing other people's reach. If I respond in a roundabout way to this guy to see if anything's true about him, it really doesn't matter to me, honestly. He will succeed or fail on his own doings. Nothing. I'm not going to make a drop in the bucket. Apply responding to him might be a don't respond to him kind of moment, but for me, it doesn't really matter.
You can't win in bronze. How are you gonna win in OWCS? Okay, tell me a little bit about this guy. I need lore. I need lore. Okay, so you said, what is this? Okay.
This guy's editor.
He is Plat trying to go pro, but had to move his wife.
The answer was they heard about how he left his job to play scrims, but couldn't help make fun of him. Loki can't blame them. Bob says he's a Nazi child groomer and KKK member. I don't know where to go with this.
Kids with his parents. Okay, let's watch a little bit of this. Let's watch a little bit. Let me see. Hold on.
I want to compete at the highest levels of Overwatch in the Overwatch Champions series. But there's a problem. I'm 28 years old, married, and raising a family. This makes the path to get there much longer and consequently more challenging. I have created a detailed roadmap to accomplish my goal despite the additional challenges. I even have
Wait. So in the roadmap, he's gonna get money. Well, he's gonna get signed. Oh, and no, he hits Masters, gets signed, makes money.
But that's Masters and that's GM.
The championship and then hits GM.
I skipped the lore section and just watched a little bit of his VOD review to see why this was funny. I haven't watched the first bit.
We're gonna win a championship and then we're gonna hit GM. All right, that's a good fucking plan. Let me hear how he's.
I think the path to go pro as a player is over at 28 if you're not in the pro scene yet. I don't think age has anything to do with it personally. I do think other commitments have a lot to do with it. The simple truth is that the kids are good at video games because the kids have played video games for the last 10 years every single day. That's why the kids are good at video games. Realistically, adults don't have enough time to commit to it. Like, but Gaming4Hope, like this guy, you're 28, you got 2 kids, you got a lot of commitments. I'm gonna guess he can devote like maybe 3 hours a day to the game. You can do a lot with 3 hours a day. You can definitely do a lot with 3 hours a day. You have to use it very efficiently, but I think you can probably get in somewhere. You can definitely age out of pro. No, you can't. You just have other things to do. There's no such thing as aging out of professional play. There's wanting to have a better job than professional play. There's no such thing as aging out. People just don't do that. People don't want to grind it. That's a simple fact. It is just a very hard job with 16-hour days of grinding Overwatch. Nobody wants to do that for more than a couple of years. That's the hard truth. You can age out of physical sports. Of course you can age out of physical sports. But realistically, the majority of them too are aging out of wanting to do the physical sports. That's just the simple truth there.
Gonna do it.
The additional challenges.
Reaction time is physical. Reaction time doesn't matter. You can always talk about reaction time. Reaction time doesn't matter. There's so many roles in Overwatch that doesn't require instant reaction time. The majority of this game's prediction, like the vast majority of any downside you get in reaction time as you get older, can just be accounted for by predicting more. That's just how it works. You do not in any meaningful way get significantly worse at games as you age. That's not a thing.
I even have a timeline to go along with it that I'm happy to share with you at the end.
Okay, let me hear it.
I know what you're thinking. Anyone can compete in the OWCS. I know I could just jump in, but I don't think I should just jump in. I mean, if all I ever wanted to do was check the box to say that I competed, I would do that.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they did stuff.
Yeah, you can't just make a fake team and say you competed. That's kind of cheating on your own thing. You said he has 1 hour a day? So the graph, he plays 1 hour a day has 1 3-hour block. Okay, so realistically, what can you do with 1 hour a day and 1 3-hour block? I'd say you can probably do Masters on that, right? Anyone else disagree? Think you can't peak Masters on 1 hour a day, 3-hour block? I think that's fine. As long as you're consistent, and you warm up every single day, no matter the day, I think you can definitely go to Masters. And I think a Masters player, if they play a role that requires a lot more understanding and that he spends a lot more time watching coaching content and understanding the video game, could probably do like a main support shot caller role, honestly. Not necessarily shot caller, maybe ult tracking or something like that. I think he could do that, yeah.
The start of my journey in May of 2023, my dream was...
I peak nearly GM on 1 hour a day in Overwatch 1. Yeah, I think the thing is, going pro and getting into OWCS is very different than being a professional player, right? It's very different. OWCS isn't as demanding, especially if you just say, you know what, I want to sneak into the bottom of the OWCS, right?
compete.
First of all,
the KKK accusations were pretty baseless. You're the one that said he was a KKK member.
Already
I'll read that later.
If you're worried about editing videos and documenting your
It's open to everyone. No, yeah, but he's already said that he wants to be able to compete in some way, shape, or form. I know it's open to everyone, but realistically, he clearly wants to be able to, I don't know, like actually get in there.
career, it's over. What he needs to do is block his wife's number, not talk to his kids for 2 years, and order DoorDash every single day. Don't shower. That's it.
In the Overwatch.
I know he's kidding, but like, it's one of those situations where I do think quite a lot of the demand of these things are slightly over-egged. Realistically, if you get people that do like actual sports, yeah, sure, there's a lot more training muscles and stuff like that, so you can't actually do a ridiculous amount of training per day. And yes, there is a lot more you can get from like 12-hour a day, just like full work. But I think realistically, with 8-hour a day, you can do most of the things you want to do in a competitive game if you have the proper coaching and the proper attitude about it, right? 6 to 8 hours a day is the way if you want to be the best of the best. Yeah, I mean, the fact is quite a lot of these pros at Overwatch are just children. They're just children that do it regardless, and they think that grinding the game is going to be better, and they grind the game anyway for stream and stuff like that. What was it, XQC doing his like 8 hours of scrims and then just getting immediately on and playing another 6 hours, right? Like every single day he was doing like 14 to 16 hours. You don't need to do that in order to be able to be there. I read the Spilo tweet replies, and it was a shit ton of screeching kids and zero substance. Well, we're not gonna watch the VOD review. We're just going to go into his the truth about the new accusations after
seemed
this.
incredibly exciting to me, but at the time there really wasn't a clear path on how to get in. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, the league itself came to a complete and abrupt end. And if
He's
we're
also
being
not
honest,
Korean.
the moment that made boys cry was Obi-Wan and Anakin's
So wanting to be an
epic duel in
OWM?
Star Wars
Spoilers!
But the moment that made grown men shed tears was when Zoe delivered that heartfelt speech marking the end of the Overwatch League. But from the ashes of the league, the Overwatch Champions Series emerged. I mean, whether you love it or hate it,
He's a homophobe and says that immigrants shouldn't have due process. Interesting.
to get into the OWCS is very clear and very simple. However, simply participating in the Overwatch Champions Series wasn't enough for me. My new goal quickly became to place in the top 50 teams of the competition. Since then, I've experimented
Overwatch did that, chat. Top 16, baby.
with
Is he a conversion therapy homophobe, or a live and let live and I don't like them homophobe, right? Like, there's a bit of a difference there somewhere.
Honestly, I didn't even have a clear direction until I started making this
I
video.
read someone talking about him neglecting his children to literally have the M-word in their bite. Jesus Christ.
Now, I finally
So
have a
basically, this is a whole internet thing, is what you're saying, right? This is a full internet thing.
solid plan in
Okay.
place. Right
Okay.
now,
He's a gays go to hell homophobe, but would he try and put the gays in hell, or does he just think they go to hell and doesn't like them very much? I think that's...
I find myself feeling stuck.
I mean,
what
you
many
can say the
refer
nuance
to
doesn't
as
matter
below
at that
hell,
point, but
otherwise known as platinum. Let's be honest, the gap between a platinum
You think so,
player
AJ?
and the top 50 teams of the OWCS feels like not just one Grand Canyon, but at least 4. While you're
is he... Okay, further question. Is he a... He wouldn't kill a gay, I think. Okay, so, right. Is he a, I have Christian beliefs and the Christian beliefs tell me the gays go to hell? Or I have this bias against gay people, and I would like the gay people to go to hell kind of Christian. Right, that's a further one.
Rank may not be the most precise measurement of your skills, it definitely serves as a great indicator of your ability as a solo player. As a result, my first...
Now, we're gonna VOD review this guy, but I gotta...
It does show you your skills as a solo player, like, of course it does, like... he's saying it's reasonable, I guess.
Falling short and taking steps to improve.
Is he really that bad?
Areas. I sometimes find success by conducting self-VOD reviews.
You don't need to do self-VOD, just play the game, man. Just play the game. You're doing 1 hour a day, just play the fucking game.
But I've also discovered that getting feedback from a qualified coach can be even more...
Doom's bad.
Okay, what is this?
Who is this?
Coach saying.
The coach. Oh, he senses the coach.
Your positioning up to this
Doesn't
point
matter.
has been...
The method, I focus on pinpointing one specific aspect of my gameplay that, when improved, will lead to significant progress.
Yes, so he's trying to drill specific parts. I wonder if he does like general practice as well as drilling. I asked him if he wanted to join my OWCS team. For fuck's sake.
In my ranked matches, I concentrate solely on that.
And he said, I really appreciate the offer. I've got a little ways to go before I can accomplish my goal confidently of competing in the OWCS. So currently I'll have to respectfully decline the offer. Well, at least he wants to actually improve the game first. I mean, you've got to appreciate that.
I won or lost, or even who was to blame.
Whether or not he's an awful person.
Instead, I focus on whether or not I actually made improvements in that area I chose to isolate as an individual player. Improving as an
That is exactly how you meant to, yeah, that's exactly how you meant to improve. ChatGPT response? What the one that you sent to meme? Or do you think this is ChatGPT? It could actually be, to be fair, this whole blurb.
Player is just one step to my overall goal of being able to place in the top 50 teams in the OWCS.
Top 50? How many teams are in OWCS? How many teams in OWCS? Top 50? Now, how many teams in total? Because obviously there's no limit, right? Like, how many teams do you think there are in total? 50? Really? There are 8? What was he actually asking? I don't know how many teams are actually that count. Swiss phase accommodated up to 512 teams. So basically, you have to qualify for it first in opens. So it is actually quite hard to get top 50, right? Like, that is actually a very reasonably hard thing to do. His gameplay looks like AI. Okay.
At the highest levels of play, Overwatch 2 truly becomes a team.
This guy showed the highest level of play is Peps versus Meta Boys. Who the fuck is that?
Focused game. Success.
Peps is a good team. I like Peps. Okay, so we kind of get the picture of what he's doing. Somebody said his gameplay is bad. This is not him. This is super. No, apply. Go away, apply. So
I want to compete at the...
I mean, he's a plat player. Like, he's a plat player. He's gonna be terrible, right? If he is actually a plat player. Does he actually have a video of him playing the video game? Tried Wrecking Ball. No, this is just. Actually, you know what? Fair dues to him. These thumbnails are not content slot thumbnails. They are actually reasonable thumbnails, don't you think? Some of them, like this one. These are okay thumbs. Going to be banned for this, but Plat and Proud. Why do you think that would like get you banned? You know you have more leeway than most of the people on the stream. I think most controversy are boiled down to someone living in their bubble for too long, getting into community way over their head before they read the room and adapt it. The rest of the attention it's getting is just folks not having another topic of convo and wanting to milk it. Oh yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about. May as well look at this. Exactly. Last time someone posted asking me it was a 10-minute vacation. Well, you don't have an OWCS team, do you? Asking wants attention. Meme, not twice. That's too much. Not twice. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, ban them all. Ban them all. I don't care. All of them, 10-minute timeout. Ban them all. All of them. Thank you. Wait, Nightbot got you? Oh, Nightbot got you for a link. What have you got? Good video. Watch the last map. Okay, so this is him actually play, I'm guessing. One trick Doomfist to see if he's the worst tank. This is 6 months ago though, so he could have improved since then. But I'll watch the last match just in case.
That's just my bad because I missed that engage there.
Why this match?
Gotta set up heights.
It's the funniest. No, yeah, I just want the average match for him. Right, we'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. I just want the average match. So soldier on the left. He's just taking damage for no reason. This is standard plat stuff. Chill out, chill out, chill out. Okay, go put pressure on somebody. Left side. Okay, what are you blocking? Supposedly it's the first few times playing Doomfist. Okay.
Okay.
Punch in, slam out. Are you gonna do something?
This is gonna be very tricky to play into.
Why? Just go do something.
I don't really have any counters per se, but
yeah,
okay,
go punch something.
Charged.
Oh, he's doing something. Why did he slam in for that punch there? He could have just kind of walked in, or he could have just slammed in. He also didn't let the slam go off for some reason. Junkertown was the best. Okay, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, he cancelled his slam down for kind of like no reason. So he's just in the back line dying for no reason.
I thought I could punch.
What? What? So he cuts to defense here. Okay. Okay, they're playing poke. Just go in. Go in. Doesn't matter what you do. Just go in. Your entire team's active. Their entire team's active. Just do something. Oh, your Bastion's dead. Okay, he did stand in the middle of nowhere. I get that.
Yeah, we just need to back out here, buddy.
No, you just need to do something.
Yeah, you're just dead.
Is he the type of person that just spends the entire match like walking backwards? I don't know. Oh, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's good at the game. It doesn't matter if he's bad at the game. He's probably just terrible. But then again, I have no idea whether he's just hasn't played the character for a while. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, he is. I'm sure he's terrible. I'm sure he's terrible. I agree. Yeah, I'm sure. But, right. So, I don't care about that. I care about whether he's a good person or not. Why are you criticizing his spectator style? You're a coach. You also spectate from the spectate with POV. What's he doing it in game? Oh, that's true. Maybe he'd be a good coach. Yeah, maybe he needs to get into the OWCS as a coach for your team. Meme, do you want to employ him as a coach? I'm assuming you're in Spylo's Discord? Yeah, I'm in Spylo's Discord. Why? Right, so can someone give me a TLDR on Gaming4Hope? I guess he's a content creator, never heard of him, but what did he do and why is everyone talking about him? And I saw this at the same time as I saw the original Apply video, and I was like, I don't really care. But then Spylo responded, and I was like, maybe. Maybe. A plat manager forced himself to play this guy with plat, surely it's a good fit. He's probably going to be better than your plat manager. Watch Apply's video, yeah, quit his job and has no money to support his wife and kids because he wants to go pro in Overwatch, but he's actually silver and blames his team non-stop. So he quit his job and has no money to support his wife and kids. So he said there that his wife is a stay-at-home traditional wife, right? Just a recent announcement thing? What's been happening, man? Politics. 14 minutes.
So this is just for my Discord. I'm not really going to spend a lot more time into investing and defending myself with this whole recent drama with Gaming4Hope and all that goofiness. The Twitter community doesn't care. They're just sharks looking for blood. And there's
I mean, let's be honest. The truth doesn't actually matter. Like the majority of people on Twitter aren't gonna look into this regardless. What like it's kind of like immaterial whether he's actually a good person or not because the majority of people won't look.
There's something to be said for maybe not even raising my voice on Twitter at all, but I still think it was the right thing to do, and we'll get to that in a second. But for those of you that actually know and care and understand that I'm almost always trying to do the right thing. I'm not perfect, and even when I do it imperfectly, it's done for the right reasons. This is for you guys because you guys actually deserve to hear what I have to say. So for those of you guys don't know, I'm just going to quickly...
I didn't want to put it in chat because clearly he wanted to keep it in his circle. This won't go anywhere, by the way. Like this is exclusively on here. So please don't like post this anywhere or anything if he wants to keep it in his circle. I just want to see what's happening because it's pretty clear from here. From this one, that he's taking a whole load of smack from this. Like 1.2 million views. Like, that, like, it sounds like, sure, it's impressions on Twitter, so it doesn't actually count that much, but still, like, that can take a toll on someone. So just be cognizant of it, okay?
Cap it. I don't want to retread old ground again. Gaming4Hope, small content creator. He is conservative Christian.
It does seem like he's trying really hard in terms of content at the very least, doesn't it?
Guy, and has recently been under, I mean, really the last year, I think, been under provocation and fire and criticism for some of the silly things that he's unrelated to his political stances. And then that led to a lot of really nasty provocation, personal attacks, calling him a Nazi, bald, fat, ugly, useless, dumb. People were going out of their way. People were making anon accounts. I found burners of people trying to call him a pedophile as well. You know, calling him a groomer, all sorts
Bob, you said something about him being a groomer. What's up with that allegation? We're going to go through his video response in a bit, but, like, what's up with that?
Stuff like that. And that was exacerbated.
Is that actually any evidence or anything people actually think?
Because recently
You trusted Bob? No, he was obviously kidding, but he might have something that could evidence whether that's true or not, right?
tweeted a couple of things, not recently as in like a couple weeks ago. I saw him tweeting some like anti-immigration stuff or some like legal immigration stuff, which just completely lacking the nuance of. And so that obviously doesn't really excuse, frankly, the vast.
I think if you actually poll America, I think over half, probably like a little bit under half, maybe, probably over half, are gonna be pro what's currently happening with immigration in America. I think calling him far right for that is like a little bit of a stretch, considering that I think that's a pretty bog standard American belief.
Majority of the criticism, because the vast majority of the criticism I saw, and I mean the vast majority of the criticism, had nothing to do.
Depending on what he said, I haven't seen him.
That. And a lot of people are retro.
America's a far-right shithole, so I don't think that's a good defense. Oh, no, of course, yeah. I just think that if you spoke to a random guy in the bar, you'd expect that guy, and he's probably not prepared to go onto the internet, if you get what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is probably pretty representative of a normal, reasonable person in America. He's reasonable enough to be convinced from his viewpoints. I've told you my immigration opinion before. I've always been really concerned with the exploitation of free labor, right? That's basically it. I don't want people to come into your country and be exploited through either not being able to get proper jobs or being exploited in those jobs. So if you do something like this, I wish that they put massive fines on any business and all businesses found to be exploiting labor for lower than a reasonable rate, right? That's basically it. I don't want modern day slavery in my country in any way, shape or form. Like I said before, I work for restaurants quite a bit. DoorDash is very much a part of this. People just buy accounts of other people, then work for less than minimum wage on DoorDash all the time. And like at a certain point, you do have to say like, sure, they want to come to the country to work for that amount of money. Do you want people to be able to come to your country and be exploited in your country? Or do you think that putting higher restrictions on being able to get into your country and worse consequences of them coming into your country illegally, would you like to do that above, like, in order to discourage it? I think it's like there's no real clear answer there. I certainly don't think the deport everyone is a very interesting argument. The enforcement should be on the exploiters, not the people just trying to survive. Yes, the enforcement should be on the exploiters, and therefore that should be the disincentives for people coming to your country illegally, because there should be no place to work for the people coming to your country illegally. That's my personal opinion. Because it should be so awful, you should basically have to have complete certainty of somebody's proof of right to work in order to be able to work. Now that's a really hard argument, because even just saying that's a de facto, you can't have illegal immigration into your country at any level, right? Basically. But at the same time, I'm entirely pro-immigration in a broad sense. I think there is obviously reasonable limits to immigration. I'm definitely not an open borders guy. I do also have, I always have this feeling when I'm talking to people that when you're talking to people about this, you do get an inkling that, like, halfway through a conversation, oh, this guy just wants open borders and thinks that would be the best solution, but they're not saying it because they're kind of like trying to eke into a different position. I'm not an open borders guy, but I think a reasonable level of immigration is good for every country. So that's basically my nuanced opinion on immigration. Now, as to whether this guy gets a nuanced opinion on immigration, I don't think he does. But I can see how Americans get to their fuck it, deport everyone view. I can see how the majority of America got there. And I don't think it's that many steps away from my view. I just think it's, yeah, completely lacking nuance, completely lacking actual practical applications.
We're actively trying to justify what I've seen because of that. I'm going to be very clear. Politics matters.
This seems more political than I was expecting. Yeah, I'm sorry for anyone that's turned off by politics in any way. Obviously, anytime you talk about politics, somebody's going to disagree entirely to such a degree that they won't want to watch you anymore. But I think that all of my beliefs are based on treating people in the best way possible. And I think I use that as the basis, right? I don't want exploitation inside my country as much as I can avoid it. But I do, at the same point, if somebody wants to, thinks that coming to your country and being exploited is a better thing than staying in their own country, I am entirely for them being able to come into my country illegally and be exploited. It's a very, very difficult one, right? Very difficult.
Politics matters a lot. I think a lot of you guys in my Discord may think that I'm the typical enlightened centrist and that I don't care. No, I think politics is absolutely worth discussing. And I actually think that viewpoints and actions...
I don't think Spylo's a centrist. I think he probably has political views that he doesn't say because it's just not relevant and it's annoying. Right, I'm talking about political views like this stream. Yeah, it's more political than you were expecting. Yeah, like it's a thing that happens, right? As a Mexican American, I find nuance takes refreshing. Well, that's good. I hope I put enough nuance into there for that to be at least interesting for a couple of people.
Are harmful. I mean, by definition, that's how it works, right? When you view a certain way, you act a certain way, and that has certain implications for other people in your community, large and small. And I so think that this conversation needs to be a very serious conversation that we have about the implications of things. And that's what I thought. And so when I made that tweet, a lot of you guys, I think a lot of people were very upset about my stance on, being outright antagonistic over things that are unrelated to his political beliefs. And somehow people, of course, just twisted.
Spiley's just said, "Don't be a cunt" on Twitter. That's basically what happened, right? And sure, like there are reasonable reasons to be a cunt to this person is a reasonable response, but like all the kickback going to Spylo, I don't think that's like well, it's hard to say. Like I haven't even seen him yet.
That and didn't actually get the message at all. And I think that who has ears to hear, let him hear, right? If you understood exactly what I'm trying to say, we have to be very careful when we cut.
Agreed. So I'll give you the cliff notes for anyone that's getting in now. Gaming4Hope is a random guy that decided he wants to go into OWCS. He's a small content creator guy who just basically said, fuck it, I'm going to go into OWCS. So he quit his job. He seems to have been around the plat level and can contribute no more than like 1 or 2 hours per day to actually playing the video game, so he's never going to get into a high rank. So Apply made a video responding and rod reviewing him. Spylo made a tweet saying don't harass the guy, so this is Spylo's tweet here saying don't harass the guy. It's a whole like nested topic, and Spylo just put a basic politics question mark unlisted YouTube video on his game. Do you know what? Let's just go for his the truth about the new accusations video before we look at Spylo's stuff, because I feel like we don't know enough yet to be able to actually comment on it. So let's start with this.
Entirety of the community of Overwatch seems to be
that's 2 times speed. Don't want that.
At least aware of at this point.
I think people shouldn't have due process of being deported, but you better give me due process before being mean to me on Twitter.
I have notes in front of me. So
We'll see about the due process of being deported. I haven't seen anything I haven't seen much that he said. So
see me looking down, it is because I'm trying to be organized without literally reading a script. I mean, there is no script
he
here.
didn't quit his job for Overwatch. The latest video said it. Okay.
It may look like a script, but there is no script. It is just my bullet points trying to help me keep my thoughts organized. The allegations that I'm aware of at this point are that I neglect my children, I'm anti-LGBTQIA+, I'm a Nazi, apparently I'm still considered to be a member of the KKK, I am unemployed, I groomed my wife, which is insane to say out loud, applies reaction, which obviously was a lot of what sparked this whole chaotic mess, and not that that's his fault, just to be clear, and then I am going to share an adjustment to my goals in general at the end of the video. There will be chapters, so if there's a specific question that you want to go...
So he groomed his wife was the allegation in terms of that? Okay, so my opinion on different age relationships, half your age and +6, I think is where I said, or is it +5, the reasonable level, right?
Look at the answer to. You don't care about anything else.
One of them works.
Totally
I can't
fine.
remember how much you plus.
It's okay. I'm going to throw this disclaimer out there, though, before I say anything about any
I haven't done the maths before you check me on that.
of the allegations. My request to you is very clear. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Do not be disrespectful to me or anybody else in my comment section. It takes me or one of my moderators 2 seconds to hide your account. Please don't make us do that. You are welcome to leave criticism in the comments. You are even welcome to be critical of me. What will be blocked is people who are clearly rage baiting and people who are clearly just there to be toxic.
To be fair, you never know what him and his moderators are actually going to do, right?
And not helpful. So first, let's talk about this whole I neglect my children thing based on a very, very, very deeply out of context.
Did he say still a member of the KKK? I don't know.
Next clip, as is, you'll find.
I'm sure he'll try and defend it.
Basically, what was going on there is my kid was crying. My youngest son, Cassian, was crying in the background.
Gaming4Hope ignores his crying child to prioritize losing his 3.1k elo scrim.
My stream is actually in our bedroom, and he's 6 months old, so he has a bassinet that's next to our bed. So he was being put down for bed about that time. And my wife was with him, so he was not being neglected. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so her entire life is built around making our home wonderful and raising our children in a very direct, consistent way while I continue to earn a living and provide for the family. That's not everybody's way of doing things. By the way, I don't care. That's fine. If something else works better for you and your family, that's great. But for us, her being a stay-at-home mom and homemaker has been a huge blessing, not only for my children, but for me when I come home from work. It is a very big deal. Kids do cry, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, like... Was that literally it? His kid was crying in the background and someone just clipped it and said he was neglecting them? Is that it for that one? Like, yes? Man, people need to get off TikTok, dude. What the hell, man? I bet you like none of the people that posted that are like have children. I don't have children, and yeah, I know enough about children to know that doesn't prove shit. So yeah.
I don't think have ever...
The best approach to a child crying is oftentimes ignoring them. It's an entire parenting strategy. Nobody's going to call it neglect, right?
Had children, which
it's not
is
like his child is crying because they are all skin and bones, right? They haven't been fed in 3 days. It's more like the child's crying and therefore something.
But you do need to be a little more sensitive to the fact that kids cry. That's just their way of communicating. They cry when they need change. They cry when they're hungry. They cry when they're cold. They cry when they're hot. They cry. You get the idea? They cry a lot. And if you've watched any of my streams for more than just that one clip's duration, you know that, especially during the nights that I'm not in a scrim, which is like literally every one of them besides that one because I was just trialing for a scrim team, I walk away after that game.
Yeah, that's true. When Bob and Yeet start whining, what do? I put them on the naughty step and I ignore them for a little bit. You know how it works.
The game, my wife needs something. I have a BRB scene specifically so that I can walk away from my stream and people know that I'm gone for a minute. Because my wife does need my help sometimes.
You shouldn't have to justify this, honestly.
My streams also lie about the middle of them is when my kids go to bed.
Unless there's like more, and there's like
them, tuck them in.
I'd expect like 5 different examples, unless there's more examples out there of him and doing something with his children crying in the background and him just like he's just in a scrim, right? Like,
and then I come back. The audacity for people to think that I don't care about my children or that I'm neglecting them is astronomical. Let's talk about the LGBTQIA+ community, because I do want to say before I say anything else, I have nothing but kindness and love in my heart for you. Yes, I have my own personal beliefs as a Christian, but those beliefs are anchored by the idea that you are to love your neighbor as yourself. And I know that while the Bible calls many of the LGBTQIA+ community identifications sin, that does not mean that I am without fault. I make mistakes constantly. And the Bible has no hierarchy to sin. There is no the LGBT is the worst, although some Christians would have you believe that. There's just no factual basis for that.
It's a nuanced take that you are bad, but also mixing 2 types of fabric when you dress yourself is bad as well. The nuanced take, right?
My lying on occasion, little white lie, even just a little, you steal a paperclip from your office, that's still as bad in God's mind, according to the Bible, as anything else that's listed as sin.
Is that even a regular Christian belief that all types of sin are equal, right? Like, is that even a thing? I don't think it is, right?
It's all the same to him. At my core, you will never, ever, 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 ever.
You kill a couple of people, I mean, it's all sin, right? I mean, you be gay, you steal a paperclip, you commit a genocide. It's all the same, right? At the end of the day, sin is sin.
Be able to find a place where I am disrespectful towards someone because of their gender identity, sexual orientation, or the like. I can promise you that. I obviously made a video about venture.
This seems very, personally to me, this seems very squirmy, right? Very squirmy.
When they were released into the game. And notice, even as I'm talking about venture now, I still use their preferred pronouns, even though I don't personally align with it, which I said then and I stand by it now.
Being gay is the same as doing bad things, but it's all love. Yeah, 100%. It's always the tough thing with Christianity, because as an atheist myself, I do think there are reasonable readings of the Bible that do have being gay is bad in there, right? I do think there are reasonable readings, but then again, it's your reading of it says more about you than it says about anything else, right?
Personal beliefs should never impact the way that I respect and treat other people, period. I want you to know, when I posted that video about venture...
And by the way, those reasonable readings also... they also include the readings about how to treat your slaves, right? They also include that in that kind of like section of what is reasonable when I said reasonable readings. If you believe that being gay is wrong because of the Bible, I do think you should also take the Bible's advice on how to treat your slaves and what tribes you should take as slaves.
I pissed off Christians that I know personally because I wouldn't outright say that I hate, and I mean this is genuine, because I wouldn't say that I hate the LGBT.
Yeah, honestly, that says more about the people you know than it says about anything else, in my personal opinion. Like, I don't know, guys. This seems really bad, right? As an explanation video of what's happening, this seems really bad. Like, most people don't really know what sin is, to be frank. Yes, that is true.
I promise you, this is a real thing that happened. I was so neutral on this that I pissed off both sides of the argument. I'm sorry, if that doesn't tell you enough about this, I don't know what will. Just to reiterate,
it's not being neutral pissing off fundamentalist Christians. That's just not it. Like, you can say like I pissed off. It's such an awkward one. You can say like, oh, I was just being neutral. I pissed off people that were on the left by saying trans people don't exist. I was just being neutral. Like, the right think I should kill them, the left think they exist. I said they don't exist, so I didn't piss off. Like, I pissed off somebody, so I must be neutral, right? Like, there's a reasonable opinion in there, and just because you piss somebody off doesn't mean anything. And also, it does say a little bit about the type of people you know.
Right? Can live your life the exact way you want to live it. I will not be against you in that. I will not vote.
But then again, like, depends on where he lives in America.
Against you in that.
I've said about my my upbringing before. I have never in my entire life had a conversation with my parents about religion. That is something I have never done. So that shows you how much of a factor religion has played in my life.
You will not find me in that.
Can I make an edgy joke? No.
Position, despite my personal beliefs, because my personal beliefs are what I align my life to, not yours. Also, I will say there was a relatively funny, I have to admit I had a good laugh, funny clip of me jumping over the rainbow crosswalk at Midtown. I thought that was quite funny. It was completely out of context. The top portion of my camera feed was...
That's just edgy gamer humor, but yeah.
I don't even know where they grabbed that. That's kind of funny. Probably my Doomfist video where I'm jumping around a lot. But the other thing is, that gameplay is not my footage. And the line that was said...
Oh, the actual jumping over it isn't footage?
Is the only thing that was actually real, and I want to give the context to that. I basically said something along the lines of, I don't do the whole preferred pronouns thing.
There's so many clips of that out on the internet. So.
Someone asked me right before that what my preferred pronouns were, and I said to them something strongly along the lines of, you can call me by what I present to you.
That's so funny. It's what I think that's one of the things that is... funny dependent on how serious it is and how, like, who your audience is, right? Like, it's not a thing that's inherently funny. It can be funny.
Because I believe that's how it should be. I don't really go the preferred pronouns route for me. And it's insane to me that we've gotten to this point that people actually think that I just said that as a general statement on the internet. That's so wild. I also left a comment replying to someone who, unfortunately, it turns out was just rage baiting me and was not being authentic whatsoever in their question of what I was doing for Pride Month. And I responded with, I don't celebrate Pride Month, which is correct. I don't force you on Easter to celebrate Christ's resurrection, nor do I force you to celebrate Christ's birth at Christmas. That's not your...
If that's all he said, that's probably a reasonable response. I'd say I also don't celebrate Pride Month because I don't have any close friends that are LGBTQ. Like, so, yeah.
Beliefs. Period. End of story. And I'm not going to force it on.
It's really by like pure happenstance that I'm not connected to the community. I used to be, but then I kind of like lost contact with a couple of people. So yeah.
I'm just asking that you do the same for me. For some reason, that concept is so foreign to today's.
And what do you mean by like celebrating Pride Month? Like, what are you doing? You can do like charity streams and stuff like that, but it's quite a lot of effort to be able to like put extra stuff out, I guess.
It's because of how polarized we are as a complete society. This isn't just a United States thing. This is a...
The problem is the jokes are subjective. Some people believe they're heinous hate speech and other thinks they're just goose and gas. There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, I certainly think it is one of those things where you can always say something's a joke when it's just like said in bad faith or said to be an arsehole quite a lot of the time. I think that the funniest jokes when they're that type of thing are making fun of the fact that you would do it because you know that's a stupid thing to think, right? That would be my version of that joke, right? I do exactly the same joke jumping over the gay zebra crossing, and I do it because like I'd expect you guys to know that I think that's a stupid thing to do, and it's kind of like it's the what was I gonna say? It's like the weirdness or the abruptness of doing it when you know that's not my view. Be kind of it, right? If I actually thought that you shouldn't support Pride in any way, I don't think it would be funny for me to do that, right? Or I think it would be weird. Jumping over the gay crosswalk in Overwatch is funny unless you think gay people should go to hell. I think it's funny on the understanding that you don't. Yeah, exactly. Is it? Unless you also think gay people should go to hell, exactly. You can only claim something as a joke if it doesn't actually align with your beliefs. Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Worldwide issue because we have been continually polarized and separated and forced apart. When I guarantee you that if we didn't have all of this media BS crammed down our throat all day long that we were inundated with, regardless if it's traditional news media like Fox or MSNBC, or if you get your news from Twitter, or if you get X, you get what I'm saying, TikTok, whatever. Unfortunately, we are so inundated with media that we get continually forced further and further and further apart, so that if you disagree, the goal is that you will never stand united on what really matters. Please don't take that as
what really matters. Tell me what really matters. Tell me your opinion on what I should be doing.
Your opinions don't matter. They do matter. That's okay. You should stand
Obviously,
for them.
Quite a lot of this statement just here is just like Barnum statements of the internet is shit, everything's shit, we should be united. But then again, he's also been, feeling a little bit squirmy in this little bit here, like a little bit.
That's appropriate. That's especially if you live in the United States. Soldiers and men and women all over the world have died for those rights. I'm not trying to take those from you. I wasn't even going to put this out there at all, this particular section, but because I've had enough people reach out to me personally to clarify my stance, I felt like it was appropriate.
You can believe something but make an extreme or irrational version of it as a joke. I think if you believe that being gay is a sin and people who sin go to hell, then I don't think jumping over the gay zebra crossing is an extreme or irrational version of that. Personally to me, right?
To include it here. All right, let's talk about the fact that evidently, according to the internet, who is so wonderfully versed in history, that I am a Nazi, according to them. So, I mean, you're seeing that image on your screen.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Right now.
Context. Give me the context. Context hat.
Fair enough that you see that at first glance, but there are two key important things. Number one is the one thing that a simple Google search of what a Nazi salute looks like would have answered for you. I used the wrong hand. If it was
no neo-Nazis know what hand it is. I guarantee you they use them 50-50 interchangeably. That's the worst evidence you could ever have.
Actual Nazi salute.
They're well renowned for not being particularly well read, let's say.
It would have been my right hand.
I know what hand it is. Do you guys know what hand it is? You guys are weird. You spend too much time in weird communities.
The left hand, you would have been shot and killed in the Nazi Germany. So, little history lesson for you there.
But well, actually, you're not complaining about my Nazism, right? Nazism is actually like this. Still feels a little bit weird to me personally. I don't know if you guys think the same thing, that it's a bit weird. You wanted to correct that? I don't know. Well, actually, I would have been being a bad Nazi if I did that. Arguing semantics is your first defense is not it yet. Doesn't have,
The more important thing is that was a screenshot from one of my videos that was taken completely out of context where I used that motion. You are welcome to go watch
Okay,
it.
start with that. Start with that. Say it was just a screenshot out of context and I was doing something else. Then go to the and it was the wrong hand defense.
I have referenced it on my Twitter. You can go check that out. It is a direct link to the timestamp, and then you can go back and look in context. I was discussing the fact that I was kind of using the motion to project the future. It had nothing to do with Nazi Germany. And the fact that so many people bought into that show.
I'm not going to look at the timestamp. Can we just take this as read that he probably wasn't doing a Nazi salute on stream? I assume that somebody would have looked this up and be using it as evidence if there was actually a real one of this, and it'd be quite easy to find right by this point because it's been like, what, it's been a day? I think people would have found it already, yeah? So we're just going to assume that this is him not actually doing a Nazi salute on stream.
The collective IQ of the internet.
It is a very strange defense, though, right?
It was insane.
Like, I know a little bit too much about this topic, right?
And seriously, if you're offended by the fact that I just called you stupid, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, but at the same time, please use your brain. That on its own was really not as big of a thing for me that I was concerned about. But then there were a couple of...
Sinning doesn't make you go to hell. I think the only difference that makes you go to hell, the only thing that makes you go to hell is rejecting God, because it says all sin will be forgiven in Matthew. Okay, so I am not well read on Christianity. I could have it wrong. I think that there are different readings of Christianity that think different things around that. And I don't think it's very clear-cut in general. And I certainly don't think that we can say what this guy believes at the same point, right?
Other coincidences that I'm getting into now that kind of tied in with it and unfortunately started to provide each other validity to a lot of people. This one I kind of understood.
Yeah, and Tiefling's right. Also, original sin is very much probably a part of his viewpoint. Therefore, yeah, like being gay is the same as existing is the same as murder. Like, it's just so weirdly like taking the nuance out of it, almost on purpose. So it seems a little slimy.
In with it and unfortunately started to provide each other validity to a lot of people. This one I kind of understood why people saw it after it was explained to me. My old Patreon tiers used to be starting with the letter K, and there were 3 of them, so people kind of associated KKK.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Okay.
If it was just normal words that started with the letter K, I could understand why people would be reading into way too much. But the word contributor, which was one of the tiers, for instance, starts with the letter C, but I spelled it with a K.
Oh,
the word mobility
that does look quite bad. How many of the Patreon tiers were there? How many?
Letter N, but I added the silent K at the beginning. The word crusader and contributor. I think I already said contributor. Both of those words start with the letter C, and I
Crusader, very strong, Christian. I think the KKK might be using the term Crusader a couple of times in their advertising.
The K. Now, the reason for that is my community
3 is
referred to as the kinship, as in
the 3 all starting with K. It does not look good once you see
brother
it.
and sisterhood. The reason I used the word kinship, by the way, is because
kinship is also very much. Yeah, it's very much one of those terms, isn't it? That is very...
a gender...
It's not really very often in your vocabulary unless you're around those type of communities. I don't know.
Neutral term.
One of those literally Crusader with a K.
So I used that, went forward with it, and decided I wanted to try and brand around the idea of using the letter K to keep things consistent. It never even occurred to me that people would read into that to that depth.
Show us your Patreon, okay? Let us see it and let us judge ourselves.
But unfortunately, the thing that compounded it that I wasn't told...
The fact that you didn't start by showing it is a little bit...
Until significantly later.
If he doesn't show it, I'm going to assume it's guilty, right? If he doesn't show it, I'm going to assume... Does anyone have a picture of it?
Is my logo over the...
Oh, no. Oh, come on, dude. You can't... You got to be careful with your use of the fist. Yeah, fist and a cross. That's a little bit... Yeah.
The top of a shield was very similar to some KKK.
The top of a shield? What?
Is that my logo over the top of a shield?
Over the top of a shield? Is similar, as in like, as a crest?
Was very similar to some KKK iconography.
Let's just look up a couple of logos, right? Yeah. By the way, I've never seen these logos in my life. Those got heart in it. So you're probably talking about this one, right? Putting the fist there is a bad look, isn't it? Right?
Back in the day.
100% you catch onto the mistake before making it here. Yeah, it didn't occur to him doing that. Yeah, it's definitely way too weird. The Iron Cross was to symbolize my resilience.
A simple history Google search would have taught me that, but it's not something that I ever really would have thought about because, in fairness, I'm not part of the KKK. However, those things combined with the Nazi salute, and people just immediately assumed that I was a white supremacist.
Yeah, and if you're not, you certainly should have thought a bit fucking more.
Racist, and I can understand why you would be concerned by the
Yes.
combination of those three things.
I'm glad that you said that, gave that you should be
To
concerned. Yeah.
jump to those radical conclusions is where I'm kind of like, you guys need to stop spending so much time on the internet and actually go touch some grass. I'm going to be honest with you. So, to be clear and to recap.
You made the logo, dude. I mean, it is an exclusively internet thing. It's not like going out and talking to people on my street is going to make me see that logo differently.
So far. I want to be very clear.
Is he gonna show
I am
his
not a
Patreon?
Nazi. I'm not a member of the KKK. It's so wild that I even have to say this out loud. I do not hate you if you are part of the LGBTQIA+ community. I do not neglect my children.
Okay, so I am fully understanding that a reading of the Bible, and quite a few readings of the Bible, can say that being gay is a sin. However, if you are a person on the internet, I don't think you should be saying that, right? And it's weird that people know that you said that. It's a very
Keeping up with me
weird
so far?
one, because it's just a topic that you, quite rightly, just avoid if you have that view, right?
Let's talk about the job situation. First of all, let's just make it a very TLD.
Okay, so he didn't show his Patreon, so I'm gonna just assume he's guilty. Can somebody look up his Patreon before? I'm sure it's out there somewhere. It's gotta be. Like, do you think it's somewhere on this the Spilo thread? Somebody posted it? Oh! Yeah. Yeesh, they're right next to each other in a horizontal line, guys. I don't know. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So much worse. For fuck's sake. Knowability. Yeah, you do not do this by accident. I'm sorry. Like, you have to be so fucking stupid. Like, you'd have to just plead stupidity to the maximum degree. And the fact that he's not just saying, I was fucking stupid, this looks awful, I'm so sorry, complete mistake, I'm just a fucking idiot, right? It's pretty bad. The fact, like, he's there like, well, you're reading too much of it and need to go outside, but come on. I might be able to understand the use of the K if part of his name or branding was the letter K. He said it was part of the letter K, but I don't know where. He said about, clan was his defense was, Your Honor, I only named the things contributor, nobility, crusader, specific kinship, sorry, because I was also using a word associated with the KKK in order to, like, root my branding. Like, honestly, it was only because I had other terms associated with the KKK I was already using. Oh, man. Oh, man. No, like, come on. Wasn't it kinship? Yeah, it was kinship. It wasn't clanship. It's okay. He didn't explicitly say clan. But I think we all know what's happening here. Come on, guys. The Crusader got a wince out of me. You can't be shooting shit like that on the internet. Like, nobody in America does not know the implications that the word Crusader has. And putting a K at the start of it is like,
The R at the beginning. I'm
either the worst cover-up of all time or genuinely the least self-aware situation.
employed. That probably solves it for a lot of you. But for the rest of you that are curious about what happened, I'm going to share the story because I
What
do
is
think
bad about Crusader? Am I missing something? Crusader is something very exclusively used as a word for militant Christianism, right? That's basically what the word means, like it's a holy warrior. Like, that's what the KKK use as their term. Like, they use it very often. Do they actually have it? Of course, I could be completely wrong about this because I'm an English person. I'm in no way. Well, I have basically no knowledge of the KKK, so we're gonna assume that's true. Definitely, from my word association, it looks bad, right? Crusaders are like religious zealots that get sicked on people. Obviously, it's got a lot of referrals to the Middle Ages, right? Ryan is a Crusader. But if he's German, it's fine. I think the Crusader and Rhine is very much around him being shield focused. I guess his is around it being shield focused. It's a hard one. I think it's one that works badly in context. I don't think just having Crusader on its own would be bad. I think having Crusader with a K is bad. I think having Crusader with 3 Ks around it is a bit worse. I think including the kinship thing is a little bit worse. I think it just adds up real quick, and it ain't the one, Chief, right? I think it's an easy oversight. I think it's an easy oversight to use the word Crusader. I don't think it's an easy oversight to use it with a K.
It bears relevance, and I believe because I've been so transparent about the situation financially and about
it's because he's night-themed. I don't see anything else in his thing that's night-themed apart from his Patreon roles. Unless you can show me other things that he's doing that are night-themed. But even being night-themed as somebody that is outwardly, I don't know, even being night-themed as somebody that is outwardly has negative views on gay people as a Christian already seems like you wouldn't put your branding around that, right? You make neutral Christian branding for the most part. Or you just don't talk about it, right? Not talking about it is an absolutely fine answer. You are absolutely fine to think any dumb shit you want, just don't put it on the internet, right? Right, let's just keep going. You know, I think we solved this. This is fucking stupid, right? I think any further discussion of this isn't going to yield any further gold minus stupidity.
asked for help in the recent past, I need to be transparent. Back in November of last year, I did leave the teller job that I referenced in my OWCS roadmap video. I left that job not because we were finally at the goals that I was trying to achieve at the time, which was to have a 6-month emergency fund and our debts completely paid off, but because I had been denied a promotion that I was promised from the beginning for the 4th time in a row, despite having every metric checked and then some. My manager continued to move the goalposts.
Yeah, and I will definitely say, if the word night was in here, it would look less bad. I think that's pretty reasonable, right?
Say, well, you need to do this now. Well, you need to do this now. Well, you need to do this now. I needed the raise that came with that to continue to support my family at a high level. I realized I could go make better money than even the promotion running rideshare. So that's exactly what I did. So I was gainfully employed from the moment I left the teller job, just to be super clear. And then life happened. December 30th, I believe, I got into the car accident with a vehicle that I was using primarily to do the rideshare stuff. It totaled the vehicle. And because I had only been doing it for about a month, I couldn't go get a new auto loan. So I'm like, well, crud, now I'm in a pickle. We have one car. We are about to have, as a matter of fact, we had already had my 3rd child.
It really doesn't help that he does look like if you asked an AI to make a picture of a KKK member without the hood, right? That doesn't help.
And we had 2 sedans. We were 2 cars everywhere.
And sure, like, don't call him mean things. I'm not going to put this anywhere on the internet. This is just the funsies. Hopefully he doesn't see this.
Went. And now we're down to 1 car that can't fit all of our family, so now I'm in a pickle. I start driving that car around for rideshare, and then it throws a check engine light that was critical. You cannot drive it. It was a flashing check engine light. So I pulled it over, and we took it to the shop, and I couldn't drive it anymore. So now what do I do?
Toxic streamer? How'd you get here without knowing that?
In essence, we still had some funds in emergency, and I'm like, you know what? The content seems to be picking up a little bit. What if I just hit the gas pedal a little bit? So I talked to my wonderful bride and was like, look, if you want me to go get another job right now, I'll go do it. Not hesitating one time. However, if you're cool with me taking a little bit of a risk for the next couple months, I'd like to. And she was completely okay with it. And by the way, that's how marriage works. Communication. If she had said, I'm not cool with it, at the end of the day, again, for me as a Christian, I'm going to die to myself and what I want to do in order to serve and love my wife. That is what I'm called to do as a Christian dude. Period. End of story. Well, because our emergency fund had dried up after that little stint of doing my best to gear everything up, and I
definitely think he's being irresponsible with money there, right? Like, definitely being irresponsible. But I don't think you can really talk in any meaningful way about this. You don't know his financial situation. You don't know about his relationship with his wife. Like this right now, right? Beth's currently earning more money than me, right? I could I could quit all this. I could turn this off immediately, half focus on my career, and probably be making a reasonable amount of money in go away, WinZip. Be making a reasonable amount of money in not an unreasonable amount of time, and probably allow Beth to quit work and never work again, right? Is that something we want in our relationship? No. Are we both happy with what we're doing? Yes. Are we both perfectly comfortable? Yes. So realistically, anything other than that is just asking too much. Yeah, things that are unreasonable happen, and yes, I consider that like 95% of society to can be completely irresponsible with money. I think it's something to do with like 80% of people in the UK have less than 2k in the bank in total. there you go. I mean, he's not being more irresponsible than other people, so whatever. I don't really see it as a horrible judgment on him.
Didn't have any real revenue coming in that was allowing me to support my family, even at the low level of our bills at the time. It was time for me to get a job, so I did. Didn't hesitate. As soon as the moment hit that I realized, I was like, well, we're cooked if I don't get a job. I went and got a job. My family comes first, and anybody who has watched my stream for more than
Some
maybe...
people just get fucked through no fault of their own. Yeah, it's like when Peggy is like, oh, I'm dying, I'm a cat and I'm dying. And I'm like, okay, I'll take you to the vet. And they charge me a money. And then she's fine in like a week. Excellent, right? Love that.
30 or 45 minutes and knows that.
You can't be making good money on OWCS apart from literally the top 2 to 4 streams. Yes, I will say that he should frame it, and he should definitely not be framing it in this way as I'm going to try and make money in this way. He should be framing it as this is a thing that I want to do in life as an artistic kind of like an artistic kind of like escapade, right? He should be framing it as like that, not a business venture, unless he really already sees a good avenue to make money in it.
Want to be a full-time content.
How's she doing? She's doing very fine, thank you. Yeah, she's doing lovely. She's not here right now, but she was outside rolling around, letting me rub her belly earlier.
Creator in the grand scheme of things. The competitive stuff is a short-term goal of mine. And if I fail, I fail. A lot of people think that I'm so delusional that I think that I have no chance of failure. I have a very high chance of failure, but I'm willing to fail. I don't care. Failure is part of how you learn and grow in your life. If you consistently stay inside your...
Oh, where's the alert box? Oh, the alert box is gone. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get to see an animation. Thank you for the random gift sub, whoever you are. Appreciate it.
Comfort zone. You will never grow. I am willing to push myself outside of it and fail in the worst case scenario. All right, let's talk about the accusations of me grooming my wife. Wild that people think that is actually a thing that happened. On May 7th, 2019, I posted a video about pleasing your spouse, how to essentially take care of your spouse and love on them. It's not a sexual thing, don't get weird. I referred to my wife at the time, and a lot of you assumed that I was referring to my current wife, Rachel. Many of you don't know this because I don't talk about it a lot. I've been married one other time. She cheated, so I left because I don't put up with that crap. That's the end of it. I was married before. That was who I was referring to in that video. But I don't have any reason to remove that video because it was still some valid advice. Fast forward to now, and of course it wasn't Rachel that I was talking about. I didn't even know Rachel then.
So they kind of like extrapolated the age of the person he was talking about to say his wife was young when he got with her, I guess?
While I don't expect you to think that I was married before or be able to figure it out, I would like to think that the collective IQ of the internet would be capable of figuring out that maybe there's a better explanation than I groomed my wife. Come on now, seriously. All right, now for the moment that many of you have probably clicked to be honest with you, and it's not really a reaction to Apply's video. It's my response. For those that don't know, I highly encourage you to go watch it. It was a great video, and don't take what he says personally at the beginning. It was for content and humor. I'm sure there was some truth and validity to what he actually felt. But
yeah, so if anyone has any age-related questions, the good old-fashioned half your age and add 7 is very reasonable. I am 29. We obviously round up, so that would be 15 plus 7, 22. Seems a reasonable age for me to be dating, right? And that kind of works everywhere. Realistically, anything outside of that, I find it a little weird, and I think most people find it a little weird. Doesn't mean it's illegal, but it is a little weird.
It was very well put together. I thought it was a little crude, sure, a little brash, sure, but it was humor. And then he did a VOD review of my Doomfist gameplay, which, you know what, I'm glad he did that, even though I'm not a Doomfist player. I'll get to that in a minute. But obviously, for those of you that watch my content, you know I'm not a Doomfist player. Those were the only games that I have on Doomfist are posted, and he reviewed the last one in there. I do want to give him some credit for that, by the way. He skipped to the last game of the 10. Presuming that I would have learned the most by that point, which is an accurate assumption. It was a terrible game for many reasons, but the big one we're going to get to now. I really needed to swallow a very difficult pill when he pointed out that my blaming my teammates was probably my biggest... it was my biggest problem. I'm not going to skirt around it. It was my biggest problem. Not only was it my biggest problem, it is still currently my biggest problem. And it's interesting because I always tell you guys, mindset is everything. But for some reason, I allowed myself to have this blind spot for way too long. People have been, in crude ways, pointing it out in my comments for a while. You need to quit blaming your teammates and just focus on you. And it took me until today, actually. I was listening to an audiobook. You'll have to excuse the phrase, editor, please censor this.
He's never going to get into any reasonable rank constantly blaming people if he's this bad at the game. You already have to be quite good at the game in order to be able to blame people. If you're plat and you start blaming people, you're fucked. Like, you're never climbing out of it. You gem and start blaming people, maybe you might have a point some of the time. But yeah.
But the title is literally The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***. That book talks about the importance of taking radical responsibility for
I don't
everything.
think the team would blame the devs directly. Instead, so I'm good with this. Man, Doomfist is such absolute bullshit.
That happens
It
to
should
you
be
in your
removed
life.
immediately.
And this is something that a lot of you have tried, and even Awkward has mentioned in content that I've seen from him. He's very big on that. It's one of the biggest things that he talks about. Taking accountability for your gameplay or for your life in general.
Wait,
it doesn't matter what
did you
circumstances
just say
hit you.
awkward?
Taking accountability for your gameplay or for your life. That book talks about the importance of taking
Was he still
radical
talking about it?
responsibility
I
for
thought I heard
everything that
awkward.
happens to you in your life. And this is something that a lot of you have tried, and even Awkward has mentioned
Oh, for fuck. Okay.
and that I've seen from him. He's very big on that. It's one of the biggest things that he talks about. Taking accountability for your gameplay or for your life in general. It doesn't matter what circumstances hit you. Of course, you can't be at fault for all of your circumstances, but you can take responsibility for how you receive them and how you respond to them. So, are some games losses that were not my fault? Sure. But that doesn't matter, is the point. I can only take responsibility for what I can control. And at the end of the day, the valid point that many people have made is that if I can't solo carry a platinum game, or in the case of the Doomfist video, I think it was bronze and silver games, I'm nowhere near OWCS, which...
Yeah. You really... If you were ever going to bring up that you like awkward, I would say this ain't the time, dude. Like, it's just not the time, is it, man? It's so bad. He's literally the manosphere Overwatch guy. Like, you just don't... Right, just don't mention it. That's all you have to do. You just don't self-incriminate, right? He's just there constantly committing own goals.
By the way, I know, I'm not ignorant to that, but it was a good point. I justified the soft blaming of my teammates for way too long.
Yes, this guy's trying to get into OWCS. He's a plat player.
What I mean by that is that I didn't outright cuss them out or flame them or get angry and slam my desk like the majority of very popular content creators do across the space. This isn't just an Overwatch issue.
You see the difference? The popular content creators tend to do it for comedy effect. You seem to be doing it just because you are angry.
People love rage bait these days. Because I didn't do it
And the popular content creators are actually normally good at the video game.
in a mean way, I justified it. That is on me. The way that I got into high diamond and eventually low masters on support, despite rank inflation, was that I had that self-accountability concept down to a science. There was not one mistake that I made that I didn't own and specifically call out when I made it. We're getting back to that. This was something I first heard from.
It's not one mistake you made. Not one mistake. Anyone see any mistakes? Not one mistake at all. No issues here. Don't look the other way. No problems.
Awkward when I was watching his one-trick Baptiste unranked to GM when I was learning Baptiste myself. I am fully owning and apologizing for my...
You got into Masters support despite rank inflation? What does this even mean? He's saying it's harder to get into support than it was previously.
piss poor attitude when it comes to my team.
I think he meant... He didn't mean rank inflation. I'm guessing he meant that quite a lot of the lower ranked people have left over time, so it's harder to get into the high ranked now. It's not rank inflation. He's just wording himself badly.
Mates and not accepting responsibility for my own mistakes, and only that, because anything else is a waste of time, and I don't have a lot of it, and I gotta get a grip. Let's talk about the goal calibration here. Obviously, Apply kind of had a goofy interpretation of the iconography that I used for the timeline. I had a really good laugh at that because the way he explained it, if that's how I really thought, yeah, it's very backwards.
So in the roadmap, he's gonna get money. Well, he's gonna get signed. Oh, and no, he hits Masters, gets signed, makes money, wins a championship, and then hits GM. So we're gonna win a championship, and then we're gonna hit GM.
What with today's Wordle? I've never seen that word in my life. Yeah, I don't... apparently it's a color, Beth said. That's kind of spoiling it, but yeah, I've never seen that before. I said to Beth, and she was like, haven't you seen that word? Obviously, that's a word. And I was like, what?
Yeah, all right. That's
Wordle
a good
spoilers.
fucking plan.
I'm going to read them off because I'll forget, but it was hit Masters, join a scrim team, build financial stability with my job, participate in tournaments with my team, hit top 25 tanks NA, and push for the OWCS. While these goals are not actually bad, nor do I think the order of them is awful, I do think there's some real criticism that I need to accept and adapt to a little bit and share the kind of clearer plan that's in my head. Additionally, I'm going to keep it specific to Overwatch and leave my personal life out of it because too many of you are not mature enough to hear it. The first step in this new concept is to join a scrim team simultaneously while pushing towards Masters. That's going to take me...
Okay, so guys, I'm going to have this conversation with Spilo next week. Shall I go on his stream and the first thing I said be like, congratulations, Spilo, I'm so proud of you. You're doing such good things for the community recently. You have offered so kindly to donate 200 hours of coaching free.
me a while. I'm cool with that. I don't have a lot of time to game because my family is my priority and content's right behind it. Competing is my third priority in the context of what I'm talking about right now. Then after I hit Masters, the goal is then
Your
big
best
surprise, to
friend.
hit Grandmasters, and then eventually push for the top 25 tanks NA. I do understand that just being
he might add,
Masters.
Honestly, after his post on Discord, it looks like it's looked like it would probably be in bad faith. With just seeing his Twitter posts, I think that'd probably be a reasonable joke, but maybe too far.
One puts you in the top 500 tanks in NA, but I don't want to settle for that. I want to push for the very best I can go for. And then I want to compete in the OWCS, regardless of where I place. If I don't place in the top 50 teams, I still completed the goal of doing something that people told me that I couldn't do, so that I can prove to you, the people watching on the other side of this, the audience, people who actually like my content, you can do anything you set your mind to. Screw people who don't agree with you. From the point at which
you need to get the shirt he's wearing right now.
competed in the OWCS, if things go as well as I hope they do, maybe I'll continue competing. But either way, content is what I want to use to support my family because, again, something I'm aware of, esports doesn't really make much money, particularly unless you're playing like the top 3 titles. Overwatch is not one of those, unfortunately. So I got to do something else to support the family, and I don't want to have a traditional job because I'm tired of working for other people because it sucks. I mean, let's all be honest on that one. So I'm going to create content while I compete, and that means I got to hire editors and all that fun stuff. I understand all these things. Too many people think that I'm just head in the clouds, never going to come down. Man, if you just talk to me for like 30 minutes, you might find out I'm not so unreasonable.
Man, hiring editors must be nice.
But guy, in conclusion of all of this, I want to share something with you because this is very important. Please do yourself and me a favor and be more aware of what you're doing on the internet. All of this video and all of the BS and drama we've all had to endure for the last little while could have been avoided if I had been a little bit better, number one, at communicating. That's the big one. Number two, if the community that posted and shared these content pieces had actually bothered to do just a little bit of research, they would have known that it wasn't true and it would have stopped it there. And at the third failsafe, those of you in the community that bought into what you saw, didn't share it, but bought into it silently without researching, you got to take some responsibility too. I want to be clear. You don't have to agree with anything I say. I know that there's some hatred towards my political views, my religious views, and that's fine. You are welcome to hate my views. I may not like yours either. We should still be able to exist together kindly. I don't think that's too much to ask. And if it is,
so what
says more about you.
Political views he's talking about? Because I haven't really seen him say any political views on here, right?
Than it does about me.
Has he avoided talking about them? Apart from this one, right? Obviously, the anti-LGBT QIA, he just said, yep. He just said, yep, pretty much. I believe it because Christianity. Twitter moment, unemployed. Nothing
I want to encourage you to do something that most people don't do these days. Reach
Is there stuff he's purposely
to
not
people that
about?
you're like, you know, I've done my research. I can't.
If he doesn't address things that has already been out there, I'm going to assume it's true, personally, for me. Unless I have no reason not to.
Figure out whether or not what I'm seeing is real.
Oh, hey, Roloff.
If you actually are going to either perpetuate it or believe it yourself,
Probably the immigration
it would behoove you to
goes
reach
over.
out to the person that is being accused of whatever it is and just ask. Have a real conversation. Some people aren't like me and won't sit down and have a Discord call with you like I've done with a handful of people.
I feel like he's just rambling. Okay. So I feel like the best thing is to just go down the Spylo thread because this is basically what's happening. People are responding to Spylo. Let's read this. His YouTube comments, Twitter replies, etc. are just swamped with people calling him fat, ugly, bold, or worse. I've been pretty disappointed with friends of mine getting up on this guy because he's a pie in the sky dream is essentially unachievable. As long as his wife and kids are happy, yep, no, 100%. Who cares? If people are actually concerned about his family, then even an armchair psychologist would know this wouldn't work. Yeah, it's just toxicity in general. I mean, toxicity can be warranted or not warranted. I've seen people justify it for some political tweets they don't agree with, but this kind of stuff has been going on and off for a long time, with or without that justification. It's essentially schoolyard bullying someone in the class finds weird or unconventionally attractive. Yeah, I did my fair share of that. Fair enough. Yeah, it's in bad taste. Marvel Rivals seems more toxic with all the rage baiting. Yeah, I don't actually see. I'm not a Twitter user, so I don't see most of the toxicity. And then he said, "I've muted it. I don't want to stir the pot. Twitter's a bit shit for this. Fair enough." Have you seen the video of him ignoring his crying child? Just to play Zarya in a scrim. I grew up in a family as the oldest of 7. Oldest of 7 kids? Fucking hell! We know why Spylo's so weird. He was never given attention as a child. He's probably a dad from the time he was 7. Jesus, 7 is a lot of kids. Okay, so there's been a lot of seemingly baseless accusation going around about him hating gay people or something to that effect. This pic is a short conversation I have with one of his Discord mods. Some people really believe anything they heard and repeat it. Guess he's a content creator He bans people on Discord for having LGBTQ profile pictures. Is this false? It comes off ridiculous. Very false. I've not been banned and I'm lesbian and Muslim, both of which he knows. But have people been banned for it, or is it just that you haven't been banned for it? I feel like you'd specify that nobody's been banned for this if nobody had been banned for this. Do you get what am I saying? This is kind of like one of those, I'm like, maybe some people have been banned for it when reading this, because it seems like they're not denying it. They're just talking about whether he dislikes me specifically. It's very much the I have a black friend excuse, isn't it? Bit weird. I bully him in the same way I bully every low elo player. The only thing I don't agree with him making advice videos when he's in the same elo as the people he's giving advice to. Oh, I don't really care. He can be useless. Yeah, I'll be toxic to people giving advice videos to people that are in low ranks when they don't know what they're talking about as well. If you say dumb shit on the internet, you're going to get people responding. Person also doesn't have anything LGBT in their profile picture, which was the claim. Yeah. It seems like they're just sidestepping the question more than anything. So I don't know. Obviously, unless somebody comes out and says, I was banned for this reason. Homophobic, anti-vax, pro-Trump conservative. Does anyone believe that he's pro-vax? I personally find this very easy to believe that one. Pro-Trump conservative. Is he pro-Trump? Maybe we should just go on to his Twitter. Oh, there's the rest of these. I'm not an American. I assume this is the bad one, right? This is the bad one, right, guys? I assume they wouldn't be taking a picture of it if it's not the bad one, right? Blue line is police. Thin blue line. Oh, it's a cop one. Okay, fair enough. It's pro-police. That one is fine. It's interesting talking to Americans about police because I'm neutrally pro-police in England, but it has a very different context here of basically no police brutality whatsoever in my country. Well, there is, obviously. I mean, people get attracted to the position of power because people want the position of power. Americans have a definitely different relation to it, so I try and avoid talking about police in general. Being pro-police in America is always a little bit of a weird one because there's obvious rampant corruption in the police forces there. Just completely and utterly rampant by the looks of it. And I'm trying to be aware that I am biased. I think it's easy to be pro-police if you are police, if you're in a small town in America and you have elected the sheriff, because apparently that's the thing they do, which is absolute insanity. So I kind of get how people could extrapolate that out without thinking to big cities where the police are just completely corrupt in terms of their precincts. But you know, I don't think the pro-police is a death knell, right? I don't think that's a death knell for him. Thin blue line goes further than just thinking police are okay overall. What is the thin blue line meant to mean? Thin blue line is a TV series. It's a term that refers to the concept of police as the line between law and order and chaos. The term blue in thin blue line, and I assume it's taken by people of a certain type to think that the thin blue line protects us from anarchy, of the darkies coming over, etc. Kind of thing. Crime and rampant brutalism, the moment police are gone kind of thing. Defenders of police brutality in almost all cases. Yeah, I do. You know, I will say about one thing about America, and this goes away from all of my beliefs about American police being horribly corrupt and other things like that. I will say that policing changes if the person could have a gun or if you have a gun on you. Like, you cannot get into a fist... In England, if you're a policeman, you can just get into a fist fight. There's really, there's reasonable stakes, don't get me wrong. I mean, but if you get into a fist fight in America, the question is, what they do if they knock you out when you've got a gun on you? That's a reasonable question. I think that does change the reality of policing. But that's the only omission I have for American policing. Go God is real. There are two genders. Humans flourishing requires fossil fuels. What a fucking weird. Requires? Just kill half of humanity like Thanos. It's not that hard. Reverse racism is racism. You know we're currently mining. I think it's like how much percent of the world's coal reserves are we mining per year? So we're currently using 1% of the world's fossil fuels per year. Sustainable, guys. It's gonna be fine. What do you want? It's fine. Total coal reserves, like we're using 1%. It's fine, right? Don't worry about it. Just it'll grow back, innit, bruv? It'll just grow back. Yeah, the fossil fuels. As a scientist, that's a red flag to me. I don't like that. Specifically liking fossil fuels, I always find them to be weird. The kind of weird issues that are telling. Because I don't think anyone that has any education on that would have that opinion. So you're only doing it because it's a partisan thing, in my opinion. Unless anyone wants to go for fossil fuels here, I don't think anyone would, question mark. I think that's a pretty bizarre one. Reverse racism is racism. I understand. Again, like, I understand why people have this take. People feel, in America, feel overly nannied, and they feel like they've grown up with constantly being accused of racism, so they turn around off the racist. Yeah, racism is racism. I think you can be racist against white people. I think that's a pretty obvious, clear take. Discrimination on the basis of gender, sexuality, all of those things, I'm always going to count as bad. Open border is no border. I don't think that's the worst. The trouble is, quite a lot of these takes are just they're obvious dog whistles for worst takes, right? Yeah, it's okay, but it's a specific group of people. It's an obvious dog whistle for worst takes most of the time, and it tends to come out as the sanitized version that is okay to publicly say of what people truly believe behind the scenes. Open border is no border. I kind of get that with America. Honestly, I am entirely fine with you saying, I want to be more harsh on illegal immigration. I am not fine with you saying that while saying, well, I'm not going to do it for farmers because farmers need their slaves, right? Like, I'm not okay with that take. That's really bad. There are two genders. That's just a reflexive anti-trans thing. God is real. Funny that they start with that, isn't it? It's always funny that they start with that. So yeah, that's a pretty bad one. It's a pretty bad one. You can't be racist to the French. It's literally my national heritage to be racist to the French. So how could I not talk about that? Oh, he just reposted the Tucker Carlson fist bump. I don't think that's bad. I mean, that's just like every single Trump voter in the world reposted that. We already knew he was going to be a Trump voter, so it hasn't told us anything new, right? Anything else here? I want to go back to the Spilo thing, because Healy's been believed that... Oh, insurrection one? Insurrection peace protest. Why are they, like, quoting the insurrection one? Does anyone actually, do the side that support the insurrection disagree with it being called an insurrection? I mean, like... Don't get me wrong, it was not an organized thing that was going to take over the Capitol, right? It's not like anyone went in there with a plan of overthrowing the American government. But they, like, I think the majority of people went in with the plan of, lol, everyone's going there, I'm going to cause a lot of shit, and I get into this building that I've never been in before. They're mad coping. There's some people that think it was an actual peaceful protest. Like, clearly, it's... If you could cause anything terrorism towards your country, I think breaking into the Capitol building in your country is... Like, if a bunch of English people broke into Buckingham Palace to protest, I think we'd still be like, seems like it's, yeah. You go into the House of Parliament and you break in, you start breaking things. It seems like it might be a political motivated in order. Like, I don't think that the majority of people doing that would, but like, even if the bulk of people did not go there with any other meaning apart from rioting, I think you'd still call it an insurrection, right? And I think that's probably where they lose touch, right? They did it specifically in an attempt to overturn an election result through intimidation. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Bill about breaking into Buckingham Palace. Yeah, if we had an election and Labour got in the UK, and then a group of Conservatives broke into the broke into the House of Commons and just like took over it for a couple of days, I think we all kind of knew what was happening. I don't think anyone's really that confused. So it's a weird one, but then again, there's such a mainstream belief in America that it's like, I think the trouble is this person could not keep his fucking mouth shut. I think that's the problem, right? I'm sure there's loads of other streamers that have these beliefs, and they're not even that uncommon beliefs in America, but I'd rather the word insurrection be reserved for what it used to mean. What does the insurrection mean? Violent uprising against an authority or government? I don't know, dude. If we're gonna go off this, I think is very reasonable. Not a bunch of morons breaking into a building and vandalizing a bit. Yeah, but they're breaking into a building and vandalizing for political motivation, even if they don't intend to overthrow. It is an uprising against them, even if they're politically motivated rioters. I think is you can dress it up in a couple more words. I mean, like we just. I don't think it's stretching the term. I don't think it's stretching the term in any meaningful way. I think this was an interaction in my mind. It's just not done in an organized way that's likely to do anything, right? I wonder how many devoted fans I've lost during this stream just for talking about politics stuff. And I'm sorry about the politics stream. I didn't realize it was going to turn into one. Is there anything else from it? I think he messed up by himself by retweeting political shit on his mostly Overwatch page and the Overwatch community he built. He stays out of drama and never was homophobic. In fact, he said he doesn't celebrate Pride Month, and that's perfectly fine. I agree, it's fine to say you don't celebrate Pride Month. Are we good? And there's no evidence of him banning people, although it's a little bit weird and Weasley somebody's response there. Everyone who doesn't, is that what Pride is all about? Are you guys trying to look good or look bad for everyone? Is it being homophobic? Is being homophobic now a justified way to send hate to everyone? I feel like there's nothing wrong with talking about politics. I think just a certain amount of people are always turned off with politics. I mean, I have been doing Disco Elysium streams, so I've talked about politics a reasonable amount recently in terms of my beliefs. So if anyone wants to see them, it's on my third YouTube channel. Yes, it's Realth with an E instead of the for free instead of the E. Is Pride Month the sort of thing that people celebrate? I think it's a different. Okay, so I definitely think asking someone in private if they celebrate Private Month is something. Pride Month, if I can talk, is a like default no answer if they don't know any gay or like LGBT people in general. Like I don't. Asking a streamer is a little bit different because streamers have communities with LGBT people in it. So, for instance, if you ask me if I celebrate Pride Month, I'd be like, no, not personally, but I'm happy to do something for Pride Month. That'd be pretty much my answer. To not actively celebrate Pride Month as a participant, as another to not celebrate Pride Month, as in to think it shouldn't exist. Yeah, 100%. And it's pretty clear that he does not think it. I think if you asked him, he'd think that Pride Month shouldn't exist, right? Surely. And then there's some weird takes, like allowing him to exist in our communities will foster this idea that all ideologies are accepted. I think this is the, like, and it's such a hard take, right? Because I know what's going to happen in America over the next couple of years. These type of people who are actually, let's be honest, the average person in America is going to be pushed so far out to the fringes that they don't talk about it, and then they're going to vote for Trump again, just over and over again, just over and over. And they need to be brought into the discussion in a meaningful way and be allowed to exist with their views. I think quite a lot of the views he has, especially the weird fucking KKK. it's not even trying to hide it. It's just you shouldn't have said it on the internet, man. Like you know your audience. Like, what are you doing? Seems weird that someone in a community like that would be turned off by a stream like this. Yeah, I think I'm pretty open with my views, and I think I'm able to be pretty open with my views because I try and accept and take on information from you guys when you give it, right? The silly communists ought to go. We lose tieflings. So that's I don't think tieflings ever told us anything about their political views apart from being gay. I genuinely don't think. Yes, tiefling has. Tiefling's barely. You just haven't read it. Okay, maybe. More diversity of thought on the political right than on the political left. Maybe? No? Question mark? I think that the simple truth of the world is right now, if you went onto the street and asked somebody's dad about trans issues, you know what side they're coming down on, right? You know what side they're coming down on. And the internet does not invite these people into the discussion in any way whatsoever. And there needs to be a way to invite them into the discussion, into they need to get to the regular sane take, which is, right, the baseline of what I want people's take to be is like, once people turn 18, I don't give a fuck what they do. Right, that's the baseline political take that I want everyone to have. And then we can have the harder discussions about what you do with hormone replacement, or what you do with puberty blockers before you're 18, and how much oversight psychologists have on that, which is a fuckload, by the way. They have a load of oversight, and it's not hard to bloody transition. And we can have those conversations later, but I think the sane base position of, if you think something's bad, shut the fuck up about it, or just say the default thing, which is whatever, just let people do what they want, right? Like, just let people do what they want. Are they hurting someone or themselves in a negative way? Then what do you want? Yeah, 100%. And it's so weird, right? It's so weird to hear conservative people sharing their opinion about being gay being a sin. It's just so weird, right? Like, just shut up. It's like, you can say it within your community, but you know it's just being inflammatory if you say it on the internet. Nobody wants to hear that. And maybe you think it's your life's mission to be able to convert people so they don't go to hell, but I like, that's the same as every other person knocking on your door. Nobody's gonna respond positively to that. Anyway, yeah, so I think Spilo got over negatived by this. I think Spilo gave a reasonable shut the fuck up take. I get why people don't want to, but I don't get people being mad at him for giving this take, right? I don't want to shut up about him. I think he just seems a bit squirrely and slimy, right? Just a little bit. There's something wrong here. He's not being honest about his beliefs. But then again, this is just, don't call him a fat bugly and old bugly. Yeah. So yeah, I get why people are talking about him, right? I get it. This is an interesting person to talk about, and it is interesting issues. By the way, I am not uploading this anywhere. It's not going anywhere. This is specifically for stream. I'm not going to shove it onto YouTube. It would be bad taste in the very minimum. So this is the rest of what Spilo's posted privately on his Discord.
Straight personal attacks, especially vicious personal attacks for somebody that isn't necessarily being vicious in the first place. I looked at somebody like Gaming4Hope, and I saw somebody that I don't know very well, to be.
My first judgment that I know is wrong is seeing Spilo, someone who shares Bible verses, defending another Christian. Too many Christians defend each other and don't hold each other accountable. I definitely think that's one of the first things people saw, and that's why they go at him. I definitely think that's one of the reasons why he's had a big kickback.
Frank, but had always given me
for instance, if I didn't know Spilo more, and know that his default take is this, right? This is just his default take on literally anything, I would also be like,
fairly
not in a kind of way where I think he's lying or doing it as a biased position, but specifically because I think he hadn't looked into the issue first.
Kind, considerate guy, if uninformed in certain things like immigration. And so I reached out to him and I messaged him. I said, I'm sorry about all the personal things. I had spoken up, not because of the Twitter hive mind necessarily. I've done that before. I've done that with J3 and SK in Saudi Arabia, and I had mixed success. I don't really care that much, but the main reason why I done it in the first place is because other content creators had joined in. Even some of my friends, not maliciously necessarily, but it had led to malice. And so it was time for somebody to say something. So I reached out to him, and then I did something else. I shared with him a story that I have of one of my dear friends whose husband has been in the process of trying to become legal for years and has been unable to through the red tape. And there's a long message that she had shared with me on Facebook. I can't post it here because it would share some personal information I don't really want to share publicly. And I was basically like, hey, this is a lot of what's happening right now. It's not as easy as you think. Oh, they just need to be legal and that's it. They don't need to get them benefits, right? And that's all. That's way more complicated than that. And it's like, I think a lot of people construe a lack of empathy with ignorance, right? And I do think that
I love Americans talking about people trying to be legalized to get welfare benefits when America has no welfare benefits. Is great. Basically none whatsoever that you can live off. There's other countries where you could make that argument, right? but probably not America.
Ignorance isn't always really ignorance isn't always forgivable, right? I think ignorance, and this, I'm very guilty of this myself. Like, I have learned things over the past decade that, I should have known better. I should have researched. I should have looked into that. I shouldn't have been, right? But I looked at Gaming4Hope and I was like, this guy seems like a pretty good guy. Seems like a pretty nice guy. I'm going to share with him this story. And he responded and he thanked me and he's like, oh, wow, I didn't know about this. I need to think about this. I need to really, and this is like how normal conversation happens, right? I know a person well enough to know that their intentions aren't malicious necessarily. I share with them, this is why I think you should reconsider the stance. This is, and that's just how normal conversation, political conversation works. I'm not saying these things because I want to be a nice guy. I'm going to be a nice guy. Everyone loves and kids.
I think I'd have the same views as him, if not for the squirminess and the KKK Patreon. That is a pretty big nail in the coffin. There's a reason he didn't put the picture of his Patreon before he changed it onto his video, and it's because everyone would have kind of seen straight through it in my mind. It's even if he was just doing it as an edgy humor, like, yeah. So I'm like, if Spyro didn't see that, I don't see why anyone would be mad at him for talking to someone who's got some extreme views and trying to bring him closer to the middle. Like, why would you? It's weird.
No, it's because I didn't appreciate that political viewpoint from him because I think it's actually harmful. I think it lacks nuance, and I think it lacks the foundation that our country was built on immigration. And I can't imagine that the legal immigration of 100 years ago is anything like the immigration that we have now. And so I talked to them about it, and we changed our minds. And
I always find the historical argument of immigration really poor. It's a difficult one. Like, I don't really. Our country was built on immigrants. I always find as a weird take to justify any level of immigration now. It doesn't really help in any way. I don't give much benefit of the doubt to someone who idolizes Tucker Carlson, Vivek Ramsey. I don't know who Vivek is, but personally, from me, I think that you're never going to change anything unless you can talk to these people, right? Even if you disagree with them. Yeah, you don't give much of the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, 100%. I think the fact that there's such a majority of society that is like this means you need to talk to them. And if you don't talk to them, you're going to just lose. I think the left has lost so much over the past 10 years. Like, so much. They've lost the culture war by not talking or by freezing out conversation over and over. And I say that as myself, who consider myself on the left. I think they've lost the culture war in a major way. Especially in universities. I think right-wing thoughts are completely staled out of those environments, and those people just keep having those thoughts and just go have them somewhere else. It's the simple answer. And that's why Trump got elected. That's why he got elected twice, quite frankly, in my opinion.
And see, you compare that to literally dozens and hundreds of people calling him bald, fat, ugly, Nazi, KKK, pedophile, and then not even addressing the problems, the viewpoints that are actually problematic or could actually harm other people or actually deserve serious discussion. And you wonder why the political headspace and the social media headspace is the way that it is. Now, I think social media enables that more than anything else, but it's really important. And I challenge you guys to take personal responsibility for that. And I'm gonna be frank with you guys, we've had little mini aspects like this happen in my Discord. In fact, not even that long ago. We had a big drama over basically somebody says something out of either ignorance or lacking nuance, and they get shouted down and called a Nazi, and this has happened multiple times now. And this is why we had to ban politics, because this kept happening. And
we didn't ban politics, we love politics. Hey, thank you very much. No, I really appreciate the Prime, dude. I don't know where my actual alert box has gone. It should be playing over the top, but gone. No, I really appreciate it, yeah. I'm in uni right now, and there's completely the case in almost every space. There's little room for anything else. Yeah, like, it's kind of a situation where, like, I when I was in university, I didn't really agree with the right on almost anything apart from some immigration concerns, right? Like, that's basically the only part of me that has been a little bit more right-leaning over my life. And even then, it's always been with this amount of nuance that I said earlier. But I definitely felt uncomfortable, like, and even in situations where you reasonably should be fine or you wouldn't be interjecting to bring it up, I definitely felt uncomfortable. It's like if you join a university society, right? Common conversation about that, you wouldn't bring it up, would you? Any of those things, and I think the youth kind of just kept those same opinions for the most part, or they didn't even go to university and they just fested outside of university because there's no left-wing thing outside of it's very much a weird class divide that's been formed, not even just in America. I think pretty much everywhere, which is horrible, because the point is we want everyone mixed together with different ideas, listening to each other in order to get to a more sane point of view. Even if some people don't change, like, being exposed to ideas makes the ideas more palatable in the future, right? Trump being elected definitely didn't have anything to do with blue state county having 0 votes for the blue candidate on voting machines using Elon's software. Oh, I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to comment on that. I'm not that involved in your politics, sadly.
The problem that you have is it's both ignorance, but it's both ignorance from the person that's trying to inform, because they have no concept of how to have a respectful and a useful, productive political discourse. Not done to be nice, but to actually affect change in your community. I'm not against the aggression, the antagonization when it's appropriate, when the target is correct. I'm all for protests. I
think the only reason why I allow the politics in my server is specifically because I think that we all have developed a thicker skin by talking to each other. when Bob calls Tiefling an idiot over and over, I think Tiefling kind of like accepts Bob as somebody who's non-serious or has no point to be made and is just being a silly, goofy guy for the most part. Hey, me too. Yeah, the thing is, I hopefully you respect each other at the same time, right? Hopefully you respect each other at the same time. And if people were coming in that either like had no intention to listen to each other or just take your mailbox, politics never go anywhere in the Discord. Yeah, I think it's interesting that the conversations happen, and I'm glad there's a place to have them. Obviously, it is a we can't have nice things situation. I'm sure if my Discord were the same size as Spylo's, probably like 10 times my size, exactly the same amount of people coming in, losing their shit, and blowing the whole place up would happen. But yeah, it's nice that we can have it while we do.
The definition of anti-authoritarian, and I always have been. I will never vote and have never voted for Donald Trump, and I have never and will never consider myself a Republican. My father, I grew up in a very conservative Christian family, in a very conservative Christian social group, with a father that was actively anti-conservative. We grew up in a very neocon time, for those of you guys that remember America 20 years ago, where all the friends were voting for Bush and for the war on terror and the war on drugs, and there were a lot of difficult conversations I remember my dad having with our friend groups and family and so on, because it just was weird that my dad would be for the legalization of marijuana and against the war on terror. And so that's the family I grew up with, is questioning the authoritarian, questioning the traditional Republican Christian party.
For the legalization of marijuana against the war on terror, just like vaguely libertarian, right?
And so, you know, when Donald Trump comes around, man, here we go again. We got another brash blowhard that's only getting votes because he's anti-establishment, because people are fed up with the establishment, and so they want something different, and that's not necessarily new.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, think it's healthy to have a political discussion channel in a place like Realth. Yeah, just talking for UK politics, like for a second. UK politics is in a terrible place right now because essentially what's happened is neither Conservatives nor Labour have answered the question of immigration for a very long time in the country. And so these conversations have also been kind of like not been okay to talk about for a very long time. So essentially what's happened is it created two kind of like cultures of immigration is the best thing since sliced bread, and all immigration should stop immediately. And basically what's happened is half the country is now at the all immigration should stop immediately, and the Conservatives and Labour have both increased immigration continuously, every single office, every single year since I think since like the Blair era. So like literally for the last 20 years, immigration has gone up, and nobody's talked about it in a nuanced way. Nobody's had a conversation about it, apart from with people that already think the same thing they do. So yeah, here comes Nigel. Fuck the establishment. Both of them are assholes. And the answer is kind of true. I mean, like, the simple fact is that the common British public needed to be able to have a conversation about immigration that was nuanced, and they couldn't have that conversation. So now it's extremized to such a point that a certain portion of the public are willing to blow up the country for a cabinet that, let's be honest, has no plans to run the country, no place in running the country. They don't. In my opinion, I think Farage wants not to get in because he'd have to do something if he got in. So it's now a literal fuck it, all hands off, vote for the absolute bullshit. By stopping conversation, I think you make the linchpin point issues very much. You make them vote swingers more than anything else. In America, it's not stop all immigration anymore, it's kidnap brown people with no due process. Well, the idea of kidnap brown people with no due process, I'm sure people on their side would say omelette, eggs, etc. Yeah, I think the conversation got a lot more extreme with yours. I think the conversation obviously got a lot more extreme, as with everything in America. I always saw Nigel being roasted online, not from the UK. You'll find that probably about 3/4 of the people voting for his party do not like him and do not think he'd be able to run the country. Labour didn't win the votes in the election. It's just the Conservatives were such a mess and split the right-wing vote. Yeah, 100%. And now the same's happening with the left-wing vote. Well, obviously the Conservatives are getting split as well, but the left-wing vote's being split by it. Because I think quite a lot of the left-wing are also so disappointed in Labour from winter fuel stuff and a couple of other things that they're just saying never again. It's kind of funny that I don't think anyone's to blame is the thing. I don't think anyone's to blame for any of this. I think it's mostly social media getting people to move apart. I think it's also the generation of youth that wanted to say, fuck you, you have a terrible opinion, instead of talking to people. I think the only thing to do is basically what Spylo's doing and talk. You should never yell at someone for talking to somebody in an honest way and trying to change their views towards the middle. Because they're trying to help, right? That's all Spylo's trying to do. Sure, like, I wouldn't talk to this guy. I think he's a fucking weirdo. Like, he's got KKK symbolism on his Patreon. And he's pretty squirmy when you try and talk to him about it, isn't it? He's pretty squirmy. So he's obviously a weirdo. But I don't consider Spylo talking to him a bad thing because he's a weirdo. I consider it an even better thing. I just wouldn't do it myself.
It's been around for, I'm sure, thousands of years. And yet here we are again. And so I encourage you, the reason why we've avoided, I guess this conversation is kind of meandering, but the reasons why we've avoided politics is because it is not possible to have a honest, sincere conversation in a public Discord, or at least it deserves a lot of caution and care, and that's something that right now, no offense, the public community hasn't earned. And so I encourage you guys to have these conversations on your own and to educate yourself, because there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of really bad information out there too. So point being this is not a defense of an anti-immigration or any other thing that Gaming4Hope
See, the reason why I can laugh at the joke of I'm just waiting for Pride Month to be over to be homophobic again It's specifically because it's a funny thing to say, because you'd have to be silly to think that, right? Like that's how jokes work. It's not just like, oh, I sure think that being gay is a sin. Let's jump over this rainbow flag because I think that gays are bad. It's a consistent opinion. The humor comes from the unexpectedness of it, right?
Has talked about. And to be very clear, he also rescinded and removed all of those tweets. Now, whether that was from criticism or for whether actually reconsidering those beliefs, I don't know. But that's how normal adults should have conversations. Not because it's nice, but because it's productive. That's how change happens, at least on a scale of 1 to 1, and from somebody that doesn't seem to actively be purposely antagonizing. You shouldn't respond to everybody that way. Some people just need to be shouted down because it's the type of people or the type of stance or their motivations. But if you take that...
Morning, random. I'm sorry, I'm only going to be on for the next hour. I turned up early. You probably like this one. It's a very politically motivated stream.
Social media gotcha stance that's so incredibly popular, and you apply that everywhere, ubiquitously, and assume the worst about everyone that you meet, everyone that doesn't share your point of view, you are. And I don't say this lightly.
And even if Spilo shouldn't talk to him because he's obviously got weird-ass beliefs, do you expect him to have done all that research into knowing what his Patreon said beforehand? Like, realistically, he's still doing a positive thing. So what are we talking about?
A fool. And you are missing the opportunity not only to show respect to somebody, but you're also...
The Rice and Lunar Colony was removed for having hydroponics. That's, yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
missing the opportunity to actually have a productive conversation. These conversations are incredibly important. These are things that I will always stand for. And while I am disappointed, I'm not surprised by the response and the complete lack of nuance in my response to Gaming4Hope. For those of you guys who are confused, I do not share Gaming4Hope's views necessarily. I would not consider myself a traditional conservative. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I am for respecting and treating everyone.
Tell us where the gays are going to hell, Spilo, right now.
With dignity, that everyone deserves the same rights as any other human being. That goes without saying. I don't feel like that should need clarification for people that know me, right? My views are consistent with how I act. And I am also a Christian. And so I believe the Bible word for word. But I also believe that we're under the new
Tell me, are you wearing two different fabrics right now? How are you caring for your slaves?
covenant. That's not necessarily even a question from what the Bible teaches. And that means that religion and government do not mix according to Romans. And so what that means is that
the Bible word for word. I don't. When you say word for word, you don't mean. I don't think people mean that there's not allegory or allusions or. It is word for word, and that's what it is. But it's meant in a different way, or it's meant as kind of like this is a lesson. There's a lesson you can learn from this, and it's not literally true. I don't think that he's saying the Bible is literally true word for word from start to end as a quote of things that are factually occurring, right?
personal beliefs about what is the right way to live and the right way to do things have absolutely no effect on how I vote or how I feel like people should be free to do whatever they want, as long as it does not directly conflict with somebody else.
Which parts are allegory and which parts are literal depends on what's convenient at the moment. I think there's a very like real view of Christianity that I think is pretty like consistent with quite a lot of people's view, that is literally the reading, right? It doesn't matter because God has purposely made it unclear as to what parts are allegory and what parts are convenient so that we can work towards our understanding of morality. But then again, these are the same people that say that God is the basis of all morality and that there's no morality outside of God, so it's a little bit of questioning in there. Is morality discovered or given, I guess. But yeah, I think there's people that have that reading.
That's all there is to it, and that's my viewpoint in a nutshell. And that's why I really feel like I have never resonated with the Republican standpoint. And I shouldn't have to feel the need to defend myself, I think, in this regard. Simply because I think at some point when you feel like you have to respond to every harebrained accusation, it feels a little bit like you're enabling that lazy thinking, if that makes sense. And you're also treating the lazy, ugly, nasty responses, which I received a lot of, and you're giving those justification. But I will say at this time, because there have been people within my friend group or social group who have been confused and needed clarification. And so this is for you people, and this is for you guys in the Discord. I'm not going to post
confused
this
about what?
I don't care. But for you guys, I do care. You guys are worth my time because you've taken the time to support me, and I think you deserve clarification on these things. So I understand right now we are in a really ugly time right now. We're in a messy.
So I'm going to come. Speller's like, you need clarification, so I'm going to come out as a communist. I have been a communist since I was 4 years old. Hammer and sickle is what I live for.
There's some terrible things
just outside the camera, just up there.
In our country right now, our leadership is a joke.
No, I have sped it up to 1.5.
And we are being consistently and constantly radicalized through social media and the way that it communicates to treat each other so terribly poorly. And the solution is to be antagonistic, in ways and locations and spaces where it deserves antagonism. And there are people even within my moderator group who have actually done a great deal doing those things. And I won't call
I don't know where it's gone. It was definitely on my computer at some point. I need to find Streamball.
out if they want to tell who they are and what they've been up to. Good for them. But there's also a place, especially in the individual space, especially with people that you're familiar
Yes,
with.
we're going to Rivals after this.
With your neighbors, your friends, where that antagonism is not appropriate. And it is very hard in social media to know what that line is. Am I talking with my friend group, or am I talking with random strangers, or am I talking with my enemy? And I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes around. And so I am always grateful for you guys, and I would like to consider each and every one of you guys, if not my friends, because you guys saw my YouTube video a week or two ago, the very least my acquaintances and people that assume the best about me. And I assume the best about you guys too. I assume that you're going to take this information and do with it as you will, as imperfectly as...
Okay. I think Spylo's entirely right. It's such a shame that people are so reactionary to people just talking with other people. It's absolutely insanity to me. Let's move on my God, so many fucking things saved to my desktop all the time. It's so stupid, man. It's absolutely insane in my opinion. I need to load Marvel Rivals, so I'm gonna wait a minute. Do I have downloading? No, I don't have that much downloading. Cool. I already loaded it. Right. So you go away. You go away. You go away. You go away. So I'm just closing all my tabs. You can stay. You go away. You go away. You go away. And we may as well look through this. Okay. So I was told that because I'm apparently the Rivals map hate guy, that the new map is absolute hell apparently on Rivals. They said it's the worst of all the things that I pointed out: the over linearity, the lack of off angles, the gimmicks, the kind of like putting loads of extra things in. I don't know if that's true. I haven't even looked at it. Quite frankly, I haven't been playing the damn video game since they removed my character from the game and made it into a heal bot. So, I don't know. Feels terrible. People kept repeatedly telling me to look at this, and I haven't had time, so I guess, yeah. Araka. Portals. I think the portal mechanic is really janky in my mind in Rivals. Early in the Swarm Room, okay. Still a bit janky. I don't like them putting the portals in. I'm going to use the interact keys a bit. But it's pretty. It's very pretty. This is an Ultron theme map? Is it like, ooh. That's cute. It's rendered with a supercomputer. It is pretty. 90%, yeah, 90% of it did look like the stuff off the side of the map. So I'm gonna be right back and just pop the loo, and then we will, moment this loads. It looks like it's loading fine despite me being on stream. Already at like 70%. We'll load it up and see if it's actually that bad, because people have said it's awful, man. Like just repeatedly, every day I get a comment on the maps video just saying it's bad. Straight lines and 90-degree turns, man. Okay, let's pop that on. Look, look at our natural landscapes and parks. I think England's a beautiful country. I don't call Spoons a pub, at least. I have respect for Wetherspoons. I've heard their employment practices are pretty good. Doesn't look like they exploit their workers. Right, why am I looking through that? It's a new map out in comp. What am I looking for? What's the name? Araco. Get ready for straight line mayhem. I've got to remember my keybinds. I've got to remember my keybinds. Oh shit. Ah, yes. Okay. Right. Let's just pause. Let's go back to the start. Right. So they were kind of fighting in here. You said it's a straight line map, so I'm gonna go this way until I find a spawn, I guess. Spawn in here. Okay. So they're kind of like high ground on the right side of the map. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What? Okay, I'm gonna need to just go to see people playing it, right, in order to know what's happening. So this is a high level game, because okay, 40 seconds. You can see an orange portal. That's where you should pop out and can't enter it. Okay, I'm gonna need to watch these idiots play, aren't I? What are they playing? Ultron, Luna, Invisible Woman, just Magneto, solo tank. Enemy teams playing triple support. So it is triple support meta. Excellent. Love that shit. Good job, guys. Good job, devs. Of course you choose Invisible Woman. I've got to watch something. What am I here for? Can you play the video game? Okay, I'll watch Luna. Just like God intended, yeah. Okay, so it's push, and the reason why we started here is because the push starts in that corner. Yep, cool. So it is. Let me just follow the push point, right? Let me just follow the push. The push is a whatever the hell this is. Is that going to be a expanded mine Groot? Sure. Okay, so go down here, around here. I'm sure Groot is part of a race and not an individual thing. Then we go through here. Oh no, that's just a way back to spawn. Where's the cart path? You know what? Screw it. Let's just let's go to the attack. Onto you. Cool. Okay, so interesting here. It seems like defenders start with quote-unquote high ground advantage, but like awkward high ground advantage. Like looking at this, it's a weird one. So we start with like a really squishy high ground up here. We just have this corner. Seems like incredibly hard to hold. I mean, space doesn't matter in Rivals, so it's a hard one because all of Rivals maps just don't matter in any way, shape, or form because the game's just so boring and so flat that for the most part, the actual geometry doesn't matter in the first place. Okay, so we fight out high ground here. Captain America's naturally stalling forever. They fight off high ground, and now it's just a straight line. What? Why? Okay, so this is just a straight line, right? Is there any really like off angle here? Where's this? What is this? Whole path up here. I guess you can portal into here. You said so does this one go up here? You said that there's quite a lot of one-way portals. There's a little back room here, but nobody's ever going to use this. There's a bit under here with a jump pad question mark up to here. Where does the red portal here go? I guess that's a good question. So far, it's just very linear, right? Oh, God. Christ. Thanks, Rivals. Appreciate that. The high ground above the pit. So, the portal over there, over on that corner, goes up to here. Is that true? Right. It's kind of interesting that you can flip the map in that way, I guess, if you're a DPS, but that's a one-way portal. So it's cool for a two-man hit squad. I think like Mantis and Hela going through here could open up the map quite a bit. That's kind of cool. I'm not trying to be like negative in any way. People said it was a terrible map. I'm just having a look. There's 2 portals to that spot. So I'm guessing the defenders have a portal as well to that spot. Is it this one here, or obviously there's 1 portal on left and right, but I don't know how you get there. Well, regardless, it looks like nobody's using them. That one goes directly behind. Okay. Oh! Someone went through. Someone went through the portal. It's a blue team. Is it him? Someone on blue team went through the portal. Iron Fist? I went back and I didn't see someone go through the portal. Man. The replay view on this game is so awkward to control. I spent so many hours stumbling with it for the Rivals video. Now we're playing video games. Oh, for fuck's sake. The Ultron. I'm guessing that's the Ultron ultimate. Oh, man. 2 Lunas AFKing at each other. And then do you know what happens after Luna ults end? They all go, oh, I don't want to be fighting anymore. And nobody dies anyway because it's better to not feed. Now there's a Iron Fist ultimate in the back line. And that kind of opened them up. And we just literally, we do the support cycle and then we're just like, hold off. We gotta wait for a second. And then we do the DPS cycle. Man, how depressing. Okay, this looks like a purposeful choke point here. It doesn't look like it's very outwardly defendable. Is this a reasonable route to use this one up here? No, it's not a reasonable route. Oh, no, it's got a jump pack. That's reasonable. It's a little bit longer, but this is a good route as an off angle, I guess. It's even got a little bit of cover there. Like, I like the cover. You know what? This actually is an okay high ground. It's an okay high ground in my mind. As a defensive focus. The majority of people on regular gameplay is going to roll out low. Higher levels are going to roll out high. I think that's all right. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Oh. Cute. The green portal goes to the high ground. This one goes to that high ground. Okay, cool. Blue portal. Wait, are they color-coded? Are they color-coded? That's the question. No, they're not color-coded. Blue and blue. Are these blue ones connected? Better than Life with a Tree? Yeah, that's true. Less visually dominating than that. This is a room for a flank. So this is just a small flank for DPS. Is there a reasonable way for people to get to this? Yes, so there's a jump pack here that you can go left. Ooh, there's a breakable terrain there. You know what? So far, there's been a reasonable amount of off angles. I don't think this is terrible so far. No, you can't see the breakable walls unless they break them. There's dead ends. I'll go have a walk around the map in a bit. video game. This video game, man. For fuck's sake. You can't make it up, can you? People unironically glaze this game like it's actually getting good. Him slowly walking back was just so funny. He's like, nah, mate, I'd rather go back. This uphill seems hard. We haven't even got into the uphill yet. The question is, are there enough off angles for people to really be able to leverage? I think this is a reasonable ability to take this away, right? Like, I think this is reasonable as a rotation. What we're looking for is we're looking for off angles for DPS. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for ways that the DPS can be supported. I'd say from a defensive position, if I had a support here, I can support DPS up here. That's actually a really good thing, right? Like, that's really good. If a Hela's up here, I can support that and that at the same time. Like, I'm happy with that. The rest of it seems quite closed off at this point. You look at the support on main. How can you support somebody doing something interesting, right? You have to be with them on that angle. That's the problem with rivals in my mind. Just gonna... I'm only on 1.5. I'll just keep it running at 1.5. Penny and Raccoon team up is so annoying on this map. It's so great that I don't even know what that does, honestly. I'm so glad I've de-rivals my mind. I didn't even look at the new team ups. It's great. So is this just a big joke? Where do they spawn? They spawn that way? Okay, so they spawn here. So you can go through left or right here. That's not that bad. You've got 2 routes here and then 1 route over here. It's still the same type of bad with rivals, but I feel like this is the less obvious door, right? Gives a second nest to Penny and makes the funny beacons shit out mines. Excellent. Wolverine literally can't destroy the Raccoon beacon by himself, man. Yeah. Absolute cancer. Okay. The new team up is very easy to understand. Just a second charge on ability. My least favorite thing in game design: 2 seasons in stadium, or 2 TPs on quick step. So this is just a little back room. It's flanky. This is quite bad, personally, to me. I think this is quite bad. Oh no, it's Gibraltar. It's Gibraltar where you gotta push below. But the bot keeps moving, so you don't have to push below. Because of their bad design, right? It's Gibraltar, but the bot keeps moving. Ooh. So you don't have to push it. Took high ground, just let the bot go? Yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen. And then the high ground fight, I think this high ground fight looks awful, right? It's horribly attacking focused, isn't it? Like, that's very hard to defend. So if you just take high ground, you win automatically on attack. So this is a very attacking focused one here. It's very, very biased. Wow. So they made you have to push it under, but they made it attacking focus. Interesting. It's so visually cool. Love the strong vibes of being some fucked up evil factory. Yeah, I think this map is absolutely beautiful, honestly. Like, look at that. I'm not even running a supercomputer. Yeah, very pretty. Oh, there's stuff under here? Why is there stuff under here? It's a portal? That's a weird flank for flankers, sure. I'm going to guess blue's connected to blue. No? Maybe? Sure. But you can destroy walls in order to get these? Awkward little rooms with a health pack in it. And I'm guessing this is the end of the map already. Yeah, so essentially what I'm thinking is there's very... And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for places that DPS can stand, that supports can support them while still supporting main. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for enabling of DPS off angles in interesting ways. And I don't think I really see any. Being able to support high on defense while you're supporting low, I think that's good there. If you got like a Hela there, that's good sightline. Aside from that, it's just pretty much a straight shot with off angles and loads of places for you to cut off, right? Like, where can a DPS, range DPS stand that's supportable by main? Does it matter if the map supports it, if the game balance doesn't support it? Well, the thing is, it is always good for DPS to off angle when they're ranged, right? It is always good. So people will do it if you're able to do it. The game design does permit off angles. It's just there aren't great resources for it. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but there aren't great resources for it, and the maps present it. So essentially what I'm looking for is I'm looking for places for you to stand that are interesting. But you look at this, like, where's your DPS going to stand? Well, the supports are going to be here, supporting main here, I guess. If you go here, I guess you can support... No, because that's too long to be able to support them. What about here? No, that's too long. So you're literally in a straight shot the moment you go up here. God, that's awful. That's really bad. God, it's such a pretty map, though. What a shame. What an absolute shame. What a waste. It's not unlockable, and that's just a room. There's no way to support anyone on left. I guess somebody could go right high, but being able to stand there's very shaky. I guess you could support somebody up on that high ground at the same time as being on main. So I guess that high ground's quite interesting, especially with the TP. Entire map's the indoor Glinter. I think the little bit of shrubbery really helps it personally. And honestly, blue and orange contrast is the one. It always has been the one. Everyone's known it. It's how you cheat on game design. You put a shitload of blue and orange contrast in your game. What is this? Oh, this is what they were showing us. It'll move. Oh, like 3 of them move to save a RAM space. Is there a health pack in this room? Are there any other weird, like, off places? Can become the best support. Do not. No. Shut up. This is just a spawn room. Is there anything else that's actually interesting on this map? What is this? A full flank route? Like a full flank route. I don't like that. I mean, it's so bad because they're so deep that you always have to be in. I don't think there's enough space on this map to really support quite a lot of divers. It's just like a brawl with melee, jumping over the sides. Obviously, like, I'm not saying divers, I'm saying like Spider-Man. Not necessarily characters like Psylocke and Black Panther. They're about the right range. Yep. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if I was expecting people to be right or people to be wrong, but I was hoping there'd be some interesting stuff on this map, but it's just awful. It's just... Really? Is there anything interesting around here? It's just a health pack in a little side room. It's Brawl, but the Brawl is the most dogshit boring part of Rivals. The Brawl is the only thing that Rivals does. And it doesn't do it in an interesting way. Every part of Rivals is like playing King's Row, but with poke, right? And you're only allowed to stand on main. That's basically it. You're only allowed to play Sigma Diva, and it's all poke, right? You don't actually brawl at all. That's just basically it. With flyers, you think you can take interesting angles? The support sightlines upwards are quite straight, so I haven't really looked for the most part. I don't really think immediate or flyers. Well, here, like, there's just no space, I'm going to be honest. There's just absolutely no space to use. It's just not much of a ceiling on these maps. Like, don't get me wrong, you can definitely use it, but quite a lot of the sightlines are blocked by things for supports. Because I'm not talking about flyers just existing. Of course they can exist. Of course they can do stuff on off angles, but they're not going to be able to do it supported. Man, so disappointing. What a waste. What a waste. Look how pretty that is. Wow. That's so pretty. If you go below the rivals maps, you sometimes see these volumetric effects. These are like bubbles of... so they basically put a bubble in, then put a gradient on it in order to make the like fog effects. So quite a lot of rivals effects have just big bubbles on it. Is the artwork part of the jiggling keys? I don't... You can call that in terms of the gameplay. I think it's a bit mean-spirited to call it that in terms of anything else. Because I think the artwork stands on its own, sadly. Obviously, making pretty maps is part of it. And just making things pretty is good enough to have a game, to be quite honest. So, yeah. Yep. I mean... Do you think Rivals players have realized how bad the game is yet? Let's turn that crap off. I'm not going to run around it. I kind of worked out how it's working already. Hey, Seppuku. How you doing? I like the maps are pretty, but I prefer having over 100 FPS. They could strip the maps to nothing and you'd still be running it less. It's so badly optimized on Unreal. What's the map remind you of? Imagine a map, but the entire map is just the transitionary spaces between spawn and the actual combat spaces on maps. That's what I reckon it looks like. Yeah. Oh, God. There's lots of people leaving now. How's it doing? Still over 100k. I think it's going to peter off to about 90 at flat level, right? Do you think about 90, guys? I think it's insane there's still radical Marvel Rivals people. Yeah, it seems like it's no longer a bad thing to talk about Rivals. Sadly, they didn't get the memo when they watched my video. More people are playing Overwatch, 33k, seems like. Which is, I mean, it depends how many people are on Battle.net. We'll never know. I'll ask Spilo when I talk to him next how many what the Battle.net split is. He might actually know. Steam reviews has taken a hit as well. Interesting. Okay, so apparently Super is based, and we already knew Super was based. I'll be honest. Like, we already knew Super probably... I didn't know he had good opinions, though, right? Like, I didn't know he was actually seemingly quite intelligent about the game. So I got sent this, and it looks like he's talking about how Hazard is terrible, which, honestly, fair enough to him. Let's go. let's fucking go. Let's hear him out. He seems like he's a good guy.
Moon OW2.
Yo, what's Giga good?
You're so fucking stupid, you know that?
I'm the gold gamer.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, I gotta be real though. Fucking Marvel Rivals does suck.
Super's base when he's not fence sitting on 5v5 versus 6v6 because of his Blizzard sponsorship. You think he was fence sitting on that stream? He was fully uncomfortable, obviously on camera. He was sure he was fence sitting, but we all knew what he thought, right?
Compared to this game, bro.
That game is, it's questionable to say the least. High Super :3, high Asuma.
It's kind of like this game does actually remind me a lot about playing like a MOBA, where it's like positioning matters a lot, and like playing around abilities and stuff. Whereas like Marvel Rivals is a lot more just pure mechanics.
Marvel Rivals isn't mechanics. Marvel Rivals is standing there and being like waiting for ultimates.
Bro,
Nothing matters in Rivals. That's the problem.
Mechanics and Rivals, that's like water and oil, bro. Let's be serious.
Well, it's not
Has anyone
hard,
ever
but it's
told
the
you
only
you
thing
look
that
like
matters.
Toledo
I
but
don't know.
straight?
It's not hard, but it's the only thing that matters. Maybe, but I'd say the only thing that matters in Rivals is ult rotation for the most part. Like, sure, you got to draw the value out somewhere, but for the most part, there's not much skill expression in the game in general.
Well, and
I
ult.
guess. I mean, it's just so much less.
Like, what surprises me is when I watch you play Soldier, you have like no aim, but you position correctly. So you win
What?
games,
Let's relax a little bit on that one. I don't know, bro. Rivals, it's just like there's so much that doesn't matter.
It's ult slop, somebody said in chat.
Is the better way to put it, I think.
Watch out,
Oh shit! All right, I win this. Wow, I'm going crazy mode right now. Carry me. Matthew DeLisi went Cassidy
I
mode.
think my aim got worse playing Rivals for months.
Forces
God.
game 7. I mean, that's
Is the PS1 looking spawn still in the game, or is it an old clip? I saw it like 3 days ago, I think.
disgusting.
Yeah, still in the game.
Need emotion.
You know what though? I think I've actually just figured it out. I'm gonna drop one of the biggest fucking truth bombs of all time. I think I really understand why I don't like Ram and Hazard. I think it's because they feel like Marvel Rivals characters in Overwatch.
Yo, can we get off
Just-
Amari's end?
I'm gonna disagree with that. I'm gonna guess he's gonna say because there are so many different like abilities that save them. But I think I'm going to disagree with that specifically because Hazard and Ram still have to play within the resource game that exists within Overwatch, right? They don't override it. They don't just keep walking forward until like it doesn't matter. They're also very AoE and not very single target, and they have a lot more threat when they're close to the enemy, right? They play with the Overwatch systems, right? Like you can't really compare them.
I feel like a fucking
Disgusting amounts of sustain,
True, it's really hard for me to play with
and it does like their mistakes don't get punished.
But, you know, it's just.
I have High Noon here. We can maybe shout High Noon here.
The trouble is with Ram, the only way to sustain on the character is to fucking have your form, so everyone holds the form 24/7 unless they can get a kill with it, which means that they sustain forever because they always have the form for the time. All they have to do is reduce the amount that the form blocks for, and then reduce its cooldown significantly, and you'd actually and the amount of time the form lasts, and you'd actually have a good ability.
Can we hit that shit? Can we hit that shit? Oh, okay.
Oh shit, they just...
Okay.
3-1.
Got her. I'm just.
I have one, right?
Come on, little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy down.
Imagine Lijiang Night Market, but the entire map has the vibe of that last section. That section with the high grounds and the calamari buildings on it. That's what Arako seems like.
She still has barrage. And they have pulse.
I just shit on her.
Can I just talk about how ridiculously power crept Brig has been just to keep up with the amount of insane creep happening on the DPS passive? In order to be a reliable support that can hit people when it actually matters, Brig has had such a ridiculous amount of extra healing put into her abilities that it just borders on ludicrous.
Nice.
Recall.
And now Zen and
I have
Mercy
to
are just
Farah.
left out to dry and can't do the job they were doing before.
Recall.
She's gonna get buffed next season. Brig is ridiculously overpowered if you can use her properly.
Oh.
Break, 1-1. No,
Maybe not at that high level, but
Wait, watch Farah though. She's low. She's gonna brush. Farah gonna brush.
no heals, no heals.
Farah half loose. She's brushing right now. Brushing now. I mean, I said it.
I got mine.
Oh, I still got stuck.
R1.
Good attempt.
Fuck
Far down, far
me,
down.
bro.
Left side, hazard.
That's fine now. Killable.
Has one.
Hazard? More like a
It's
hazard
just this last Pug stream when we were waiting for players.
to my fucking...
Yes, yes,
Oh yeah, Brick can probably get a nerf, by the way, in our patch.
fun.
I think Brick's still good.
No, look at the right side of the map.
Oh, she went AFK. Okay, that's amazing.
Aura, knife.
Carried on Brig beside being a pseudo tank. Brig's ridiculous, man. Like, okay, Gamepedia Brig. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let's just go to the history of buffs, right, for Overwatch 2. Okay. This is getting newer. This is getting older. Okay, we're at the bottom. Right. So, Inspire now triggers on shield bash damage. No problem. Inspire reduced. No problem. No problem. Repair pack. Healing over time reduced. Applying a repair pack now instantly heals for 25. What absolute insanity. What absolute insanity. Then she got, I think it was repair pack regen time buffs, if I'm not mistaken. Cooldown reduced to 5 there. They increased it back up a little bit. Inspire reduced. Then they got quick fix. And then quick fix is just absolutely ridiculous. So, like, in terms of keeping Brig at the same level, they had to introduce, like, a massive burst of value into Brig in order to allow her to just be able to heal people reactively. Because being able to be there at the point where it matters doesn't matter enough anymore for you to just put healing over time on them. You have to put an impulse of healing and healing over time. Basically, in order for Mercy to be as good at healing as Mercy used to be, every time Mercy clicks on a beam, every, like, 1 second, she should heal them for 50. That would actually be the way to balance Mercy's healing. But they can't do that because they're fucking DPS passive, man. It's so bad. So bad. So bad.
He has been.
Ultimate shield
controlling
made me
my game or
sad.
what?
On a Mac Link.
Oh, I think he's been controlling the whole... Oh, have we been playing like 4v5 this whole game, actually?
Scissors.
That explains a lot.
Isn't that a Mercy perk already? No, you're talking about Flash Heal, right? How do you feel about percentile healing on Mercy? I don't think Mercy should be healing the tanks for more. I think the idea of just flat healing on DPS is more than good enough, honestly. I don't think Mercy should be a tank healer in general.
We've been playing... I think we've been playing 4v5 for a while,
That's the opposite
actually.
of what I want to.
Yeah, we have.
That's so awesome.
That's fine.
NT. And he's the first one to leave? Oh, I'm about to say some not nice things. Cover your ears.
Call him stinky.
A little worse than that. Wait, you roll super on your team, but he's on DPS.
93 vertical. 93 vertical. Oh, power forward. I got Giannis. I got Giannis.
Have I been baited into watching extended clips of Super?
Some issues, you know that? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you might have some issues, you know that? He sent me a picture of his fucking... I guess he's laying in his bed, and... He is naked, so I can see his thighs and his legs. And then he put his pinky finger where his pee-pee is supposed to be, so it looks like he's got a little...
I'm not watching this shit. It's a fucking Zoomer bait. He might have more conversations in here. I'm pretty sure he does talk about him some more in here, but... I'm not reading it. I'm not watching it. Man, what absolute crap. Okay, I've got enough time. I'm going to play a game of Overwatch, then I'm going to go. I haven't played it a couple of days. I think that's the wrong account. Give me 1 sec. Ooh, that was a close one. Yeah, 2523. Don't look at that. Play Battlegrounds? No. I'll always be a hazard defender. Why are you a hazard defender out of curiosity? It's not a secret account. It's literally the other account. He's fun? Yeah, but he's unfun to play against. I'm a hazard hater, true and based. I don't know, Hazard is just one of those, like, massive bloke characters that just has so much in the kit, and it's just so boring in my mind. I don't mind playing against him, so I don't know. He's just... It's the lethality of him on single targets that I think I have a problem with. I feel like if they lent into his block instead of his knife, he'd be an interesting character, personally. I think the wall just does not have a reason to exist on his hero. I think we proved that last Pugs, personally. I don't know if anyone agrees with that the bubble, though it was completely misbalanced, felt a lot better on the character than the wall does. Just remove wall climb. The wall climb, the wall, and the lunge all work together in their mind, right? I'm a jump exploder player, and then so I'm for 10 seconds behind my wall, and then with the block I can jump again. I'm not playing Genji. Screw you. Yay! I got to wait for an extra 30 seconds just to have the same game I'd had before. And now we get to play against Sombra. So I play Widow. Fast jump cycle where he keeps lunging and over and over again like mini cuts. Yeah, I'd rather that type of thing. Reduces block percentage, make him lunge a lot faster. I feel like a more skillful Venom. Sure, but like, can we acknowledge that Venom has like basically no AoE damage and is kind of boring because of it? Like, Venom's just horribly boring, literally. The moment you don't ban Sombra, they come out the woodworks. These Sombra players, man. I think it is a, you know what? Let's just do the easy Zarya game.
If we do this right, they won't even know what happened.
Do I have push to talk? I do.
Hey.
Hello, Tim.
What's up?
Hello. Hello.
How's life? Fellow 6v6 enthusiasts.
Oh, yeah.
They hate me. I really should be on high ground. Can't jump this with that. Oh, eat. How did they not shoot him at all? Ridiculous. Hey, guy Lena, how you doing? I'm gonna shoot you. Oh, how did he hit me? Whoop. Oh, I failed the jump. I just missed it. I can't jump. No, leave me alone. I just want to get the high ground. Leave me alone. The Zen's a great target. Oh, Winston dies? Why did Winston die? Man. One idiot. What are you doing? Stop it. What, like, why are you doing this? Just don't. Nobody's forced you into this. Why is this Moira doing this? For what possible reason is this Moira just like inting? What? Leave me alone!
Monkey.
I'm gonna die just because of this Moira. I need to... Save it! They're all walking away for no reason! Walk towards me, you bastards! This Moira actually killed me just by tickling me. Waste of bubbles. Excellent. That's what I like to do. Waste my bubbles. No bubbles usable at all. Let's go. Let's go. It's like I'm playing Rivals in this place, right? Where everyone just walks away from you if you like press W in any way as a tank. How did they get? Why are you on car? No, I don't die. I don't die to this. No. They're just walking off. There's like 3 of them. And they're just like all over in Narnia. Admittedly, I was a little deep. But you know, it's what it is. It's the classic Sombra in-game. Everyone picks Sombra. Because fuck you having fun.
group.
Don't want to. I'm dead. Jump in. No, that's not going to get anything. Zero charge Zarya. That's how I play. I do it on purpose just for fun. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really fun to have zero charge on. Pretty scary. Zero charge Zarya. Why is the Genji calling me? Leave me alone, Genji. Fuck it. Contesting. We're contesting. Yep, we're contesting. Can you jump this? Hang on, can you jump this? I'm not an Overwatch coach. Screw you. Can you jump this? You can't jump that. Zoom them off cart. That Mercy sure didn't jump at the cart. Zero charge, Zarya. Zero charge. Oh. You leave. Why is there a Sombra here? Hey, yeah, they accidentally virused my thing. Check by checking. Fuck off. Go away. Fuck off. Go away. No. I do not die to this. Whoop. Zero charge, Zarya. Stay in the Kitsune. Get your bubbles back faster. Get zero charge faster. Zero charge. God, that's so bad. Oh, you go on the tip of the box? It was this corner, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember. I could go for jumpies, but instead of going jumpies, I'll go for the obviously better perk.
Sorry, my bad.
Zero charge. None at all. No charge. The health pack. Nope. I am feeding. I am doing nothing. Oh, charge! Oh, that's close. Moira, get the Moira. The Mercy's just healing them infinitely because she has infinite movement. I fell off. I'm back. I grabbed him. 30% of his max health. Yeah, damage. Oh, I got a kill. Yeah, beautiful. Over 50% energy? I'm never going to get that. I may as well go on the right click one. Hey, Kagami. How do I bubble her, the Iliari, on literally 1 HP, and she gives me nothing? He's just trying to fully off point. I am doing nothing. 3 seconds. 1. Nope. I'm not saying about the pylon, I'm saying about my charge. You know what? I'm just gonna go the single target blow up character. You know, the character that just blows you up without you having any interaction whatsoever. Yeah, well, you're gonna bugger off, aren't you? Play Ram for Cruise? I can play Ram, yeah. Frontline damage, that's what we farm today. Oh. Yeah, well, like it's not a good thing. Is he actually coming for me? I think the Rhine actually charged through. I've got to wait for my health bar. Sombra is awful and should be deleted from the video game immediately. It's a good thing the community's almost deleted them already. character get back out on now. Hazard. You're in it for life. Literally, what is this movement, Mercy? Like, what is this movement? Is there any skill involved in this whatsoever? This guy just like, just like in Narnia, just running about. Like, how are you meant to ever shoot this? Like, what is wrong with the what is wrong with the devs doing this type of movement to this character? They've completely destroyed it because all you have to do is float 5 fucking meters in the air and you're fine. Ah! 50 meters, not 5. Fly at her? Just game wings? Yeah, just game wings. It's that easy. Okay, I'm gonna go Ram. I actually do enjoy Ram. So, like, literally at the skill floor, it is available to Mercy to just fly into Narnia. Just track her with Malga, surely? Are you still in voice? Everyone just silent as the grave. Good round, team. There you go. You happy? Yeah. Mercy isn't too hard to track. Yeah, but I'm the average person instead of the person that sweats this game all the time because I spend doing coaching, content creation instead of playing the damn game. So I have no practice in terms of aim, so I can't aim it at all. There's quite a few characters that annoy to play against Sombrahog and Torb cast when I'm on tank. The trouble is, Hazard isn't outrightly awful, right? That's the problem with Hazard. He's okay-ish and not that annoying some of the time. Like, I certainly understand why you don't dislike him. He's relatively, I don't know, just like fine most of the time. I guess the trouble with Hazard comes when you think about the things you're lacking from the game because you have a Hazard in it. Flanking round, flanking round. I can't aim, I can't aim. Let me up. Oh, I actually got him. No way I got him.
Nice.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, we are the better team. We kind of
just wait, rotate, and then punch.
Thanks, very good.
Wow, that's up. Look how long this lasts. It's so unnecessary. Like, you could literally cut its duration in half and it would be fine. I need to stage the high. Maybe I'll just push. You know what? I'm just going to push. Well, that's a lot of pressure. Okay, we're going to chill for a second. Just wait for that DPS passive. Kappa, kappa. Oh, no! I shouldn't have done that last punch. I had the Moira ult on. I'm going the DPS route. I don't care. Fuck it. Do you want to have fun with extra damage? Or do you want to have a shield that's slightly bigger and survive? Ooh. Give Winston a shield on his dive? Yeah, no. I obviously should. I'm just bad at the video game. Ready? Be ready. Yeah, fuck you. Okay. Get the health back. Reset. I should cancel this Bowser. Yeah, fuck you. Slide in the middle.
Most get the most.
Line them up. Piss off. Piss off. Like, actually piss off. Shut. Did our supports die earlier? Oh, how did they both die? Ah, shit. 6 seconds on a resource meter for block ability that fills up the land punches. You literally just need to make it 5 seconds and half the duration, and it would be fine. You've reduced the defensive capability, reduced the aggressive capability for long periods of time. You don't need to make it so you can just swap back and forth instantly.
Go back, go back.
Or just stay in the other form forever.
Go back, you will die there.
If it's gonna be an empowered form, then it needs to be an empowered form. I should have waited for that shield. It doesn't do anything. And this Moira is such a pleb, right?
Can you try to demech the diva?
Try to demech the diva. That is certainly a goal to have.
So sorry.
Yes. She's always coalescing like 3 seconds after. I don't know if she didn't have it or. Your balance pays my soul sometimes. I don't know if I pick up RAM after that. What, so you can use it aggressively and having, like, I didn't say I'd reduce anything about it apart from the duration. So you can't just hold form forever. Is that actually a deal breaker for you?
Group.
Sombra just murdered somebody. Up, up, up. Uppy, uppy. I'll wait till it spawns anyway. Yeah, he was waiting for heals. Nope, no shield in time. I thought I had the shield off cooldown. I was like trying to press the right click button in order to do it.
Moira.
I could have just yeah. Yeah, I know. I was trying to frontline as Ryan for a little bit of time. I know I screwed up there. Isn't infinitely cycling shield and form peak 5v5 design? Infinitely cycling shield and form? Did I say I'd change anything about the shield cooldown? I wouldn't change the shield cooldown much at all. It's already really long. I'm taking the healing one. Right click accelerating the depletion of form would be awesome. Yeah, I think we just don't want. Oh yeah, they do have a lever. Aha, we're good at the video game now. Yay! Good job, guys. You finally looked there. Nope. Not what I intended to do. Boing, boing, boing. Of course, they're going to fade immediately. I also cannot, for the life of me, for some reason, aim punches. I don't know what it is about me. Yes, I am using them both at once. I knew that Moira would go deep.
You're just 3 people using ult.
Yeah, I'm
Why?
trying to kill the Moira. She actually gets that
demake the
long
diva
fade is just such a killer to anyone's desire to actually play this video game, surely. Not being able to ever chase a Moira every single time they fade. They're just not being a target anymore. Is that actually fun? I'm like, oh, I can chase the Moira. Oh, wait, she's just teleporting 300 miles away.
Go back, Ramatron. Do that, bro.
Video game him.
Make the diva.
Nope. the enemy tanks. That's how you play this video game. Well,
Touch.
I'm bad. Watching Gaming4Hope become mainstream is like watching your favorite band become mainstream. I don't know. Gaming4Hope is an interesting case. See, I could have just played better and then everything would have been fine. It's like shield form shield, then a 2 to 3 second gap between it. Oh yeah, no. The thing is, I know all the things I'm doing wrong. I just can't correct them until I play the game more. Yeah, I feel like he did admit the Gaming4Hope was his favorite content creator. I hope he's missed both. Anyway, I'm gonna head. Have a fantabulous evening. I will be on Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to be on at any time before that. But thank you all for spending a bit of time with me tonight. Thank you all for investigating the Gaming4Hope situation. Kind of a sad thing for the most part. When it's debate, we don't have it sorted out yet. I'll message him. I'll message him tonight about it. I'll try not to destroy the code. Thank you, Swede. You see, a couple of months ago on this roadmap vid, someone commented saying they were high GM, and even they had no chance to get into OWCS, and Gaming4Hope was like, well, if you think you can't get into, like, it's a hard one. Like, if you set your goal and you work for it, I don't see a reason why people can't, but the amount of time he's able to spend on the game is just a complete non-starter, right? Safe drinking tonight? Yeah, I'm trying to get a heat stroke while consuming alcohol. Oh, big scary robot. He's so cool and evil and racist and cool. Man, I too only main heroes for racism reasons. It's why I hate Hazard so much. Because Hazard is used the government's money that they paid out from what seems to be a reasonable payout from his injury in service. And he used that in order to get illegal cybernetics, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And I hate the Scottish. Anyway, have a nice evening. Good night, guys. See you soon. Bye. Yeah, it was disappointing loot boxes, wasn't it?